All right, so hello to anyone who's watching this on YouTube. You're watching a game that's been arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet that gets together and plays tabletop role-playing games online or online, online, not online. That doesn't make a lick of sense. You can find the Gauntlet at gauntlet-rpg.com. You find all the cool stuff that's done there, like blogs, forums. There's also the monthly zine the Gauntlet puts out called Codex, which usually contains supplements to existing games or original games in itself. It's also the extensive podcasting network, and also the Hangouts calendar to which this game was arranged. This game is our fourth session of looking into Blades in the Dark by John Harper. Your game of criminals, thieves, rogues, scoundrels coming together to make it on top in an industrial fantasy city that's also haunted by ghosts. But we've also been using Sean Nittner's playset called Vigilantes, which refocuses the aim of the game from helping yourselves to helping others, from making sure that those who need help get that help, and those who are less privileged, less protected, get the chance to live a better life than the lot that's been dealt to them. And I dare say, our heroes here are doing quite a good job, along with dealing with their own, problems and neuroses and different, God, as we've got a motley crew here. So let's meet our aforementioned motley crew again. I'm gonna go from the order on the roll 20. So would you like to introduce yourselves and your pronouns and then your character? First up, as always, on top. I'm sorry, Will. That's just how it's gonna be. So, Will, would you kindly introduce yourself and your character?
Hi, my name's Will. My pronouns are he, him. I just hit my webcam by mistake. And I am playing Solomon Reigns, better known as Redcoat, a vigilante who is a blue coat by day and then the vigilante named Redcoat by night, and deals two-fisted justice to the streets of Duskwall.
Hell yeah. And hopefully we're gonna get to see him deal that justice to a bunch of ghost Iron Men. Um maybe, just maybe. um, Up next, Jim, would you kindly introduce yourself and your character?
Hey, I'm Jim Crocker, folks that know me from outside the Gauntlet, where I run and play a whole lot of games with most of the people here on various times. May know me because I'm a retailer of role-playing games that I sell at conventions all up and down the East Coast and across the Midwest. So I'm doing a lot of gaming online these days and not going to a lot of conventions. So I'm in my sole proprietor office here. I am the only employee, so I can still come into my office because I have contact with no one when I'm here. So gives my wife some much needed relief at the house so that she can actually get some work done. So, but I'm very grateful to be included in this. Having my days free is pretty cool. So if you're interested in what I've got going on, you can find me online. I'm on Twitter at Jim Likes Games, where I kind of talk about games. I've done not a lot these days because, like I said, the kind of a convention drought right now. I've got a website, jimlikesgames.com, where I sell games, including many of the ones behind me. So if you had a hankering while you're stuck inside to buy some games, that is a way to help me tide things over between now and whenever the conventions start back up again. We'll see when that is. But I am taking this opportunity to play basically Catwoman in this game that we are playing here. I'm Victoria Hightower, society dame and debutante by day, and the Midnight Magpie, purloiner of shiny things from other rich people at night, who has kind of fallen in with this crew because it seems like an adventure, and maybe there's some of her mother who runs clinics in the local neighborhood that has kind of some of her altruism perhaps has rubbed off, but in a more adventurous way with Victoria. And so she was a little too fast and loose with her blade in our first adventure and got a talking to by her mentor, and is trying to play it a little more cool. We'll see whether that actually works out when the chips get down. I'm looking forward to playing to find that out.
Hell yeah. That's very cool. I'll put a link down to Jim Likes Games, the website down there. I just realized that I accidentally skipped over someone on the Roll20. Apologies for that, Sabine. Please don't hurt me. So would you kind of introduce yourself and your character?
Hi, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns. I was a bit surprised, but I thought that Leandro had a purpose with this, so I was very excited and thought that I would do something special, which I will, because I'm playing Dr. Silas Ravenglass, and Dr. Ravenglass, or the Raven Doctor as he is commonly known on the streets, is a pretty special person. He will tell you so at length. Dr. Ravenglass has studied the ghosts mostly. He is by day, he is a spirit catcher, but he won't tell you that because that's mundane and profane. And he is more of an academic soul. As you can probably tell, he's quite convinced that he's a very great person and has yet to be proven wrong. But maybe it will happen, who knows? I'm curious.
We'll see. Well, you've got the attention of your erstwhile rival, who, if I should mention again, counts as a Tier 3 faction just by himself. So good luck dealing with that. And up next, we have David, who's playing... well, why don't you tell us about yourself and your character?
Sure thing. Hi, my name's David. I use he, him pronouns. And yeah, this evening I am playing Daphnia Penderyn, or the Widow Penderyn. She is an older lady, used to work down at the fish market, but has gone into semi-retirement as the landlady of a boarding house for young women. She is kind of a pillar of the community, a prominent local gossip. Seems to know a little bit about everyone's business. Has her has a lot of friends, some of whom might occasionally get dressed up in masks and beat people up at night. In this I am playing the Spider playbook. And yeah, last time we saw the Widow wheezing out some information about our target and providing some plans and stuff to help with the infiltration of the operation.
Hell yeah. The Widow's been fascinating, just like being able to just do stuff from the shadows, just poke a lot of fingers and a lot of different pies. It's creepy. And like I see Steven's doing a work call, so we'll come to him in a moment. So I guess I should introduce myself actually, because I keep forgetting to do that. I forgot, like in Zoom, these handy little name little like titles here don't show up. I'm pointing at my screen. Hi, my name's Leandro. You see him pronouns. I run some games on the Gauntlet. A lot of Forge in the Dark recently. For some reason, we just wrapped up Band of Blades yesterday, so that was lovely. I don't know. Should I tease? Yeah, I guess I'll tease. I'm probably running a spot more Forge in the Dark stuff in the future. There's this game called Rebel Crown, which is about this deposed nobles trying to claim back their birthright and the people who love them and support them. And so that's fun. Watch out for that. Yeah. So I guess while we're waiting for Steven, we should talk a bit about like the safety tools that we're using. And I'll reiterate for himself like what we're using for this session. I remind folks to have lines and veils down at the handouts, down at the bottom of the Roll20. Basically, lines are things that won't be crossed, just won't show up in the fiction at all. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not gonna like concentrate on them. Like it happens off screen, or gets a sentence or two, or we just fast forward over it. We don't have to linger on any veil that's detailed. And remind folks, it's a living document, so like I know we've been here for a while, but like if something suddenly like you think of something like that should be there, feel free to bung that in there and mention in chat that you've updated the lights veils. There's also the X card that we're also using the X card for the series. Basically, if you do roll into a scene where folks weren't comfortable for any reason, and any reason is perfectly fine. In fact, you don't have to explain what the reason is, and it could be anything. It could be like a name or a detail of the scene, or even just a character or like the tone of the scene, or just the entire scene itself. You can say you want to X card that either in chat or I say so in the video. Say you want to X card that or make that symbol. Have to use a pen. I don't know why I'm holding that. And then I might ask some questions on what's being X carded, but folks don't get the question if the card is played. If it's played, we'll roll back, we'll respect that, and try something else. And finally, we do have an open door policy for this session. Basically, if folks need to step away from the table for any reason, and again, any reason is perfectly fine. There could be an emergency, or you're more tired in your thoughts, you need to step back, or you really need to go to the bathroom, or call for a break, or you need to pause the action, get your bearings and whatnot for any number of time, that's perfectly fine. And anything could be happening. Like your character could be in a life or death situation where you're grappling against, I don't know, some sort of ghost hole. A sentient ghost hole. Yeah, that could totally happen. And you really need to go, or anyone really needs to go, we'll respect that and pause the action. The open door policy also extends to the GM myself, and if I say I do need to go, usually I'll try to specify how long, like say 5 minutes or 10 minutes at the most. But if I'm if I don't come back and I didn't message any of you on our different messaging channels, and yeah, if I don't come back at a lot of time, feel free to step away from the table at that point. Usually I'll try to mention if I'm delayed by extra minute, by a couple more minutes. But if I don't, it's a fair assumption, Sabine. Yeah, the fairies probably stole me. I mean, I know where I live. I know what goes bump around in this actually fairly recent suburb subdivision. So probably I don't know. The fairies are probably angry about that. Anyway, so those are risks to me. I don't know about yourselves. All right, so quick recap of what happened last session. You all did downtime. You all got rep for saving poor Arco from his misdeeds, which is fab. Y'all pursued different projects. Some folks established clinics, which was lovely. Some folks got some acclaim in the newspapers for their deeds. Some folks is on their way to getting hooked on demon weed, which is, it's a hazard of working here, working in Duskwall. And so you got your new, we jumped into the latest score that you have, which is breaking into this derelict auction house to break up this demon weed cultivation, or at least an aspect of this demon weed cultivation operation run by the Dimmer sisters. We're kind of like this weird collection of a lot of sisters. Apparently there's not really people know how many there are, but they're trying to get a hold of the occult trade here in Duskwall. So let me remind you wherever you are as we kind of setting the scene. Well, I don't know where the widow is. She's somewhere, but she did get y'all blueprints. So I think, let's see, I think everyone except for Magpie is still on the entrance foyer of this auction house, black and lax, while Magpie has gone up to the vents and has kind of gone ahead and but thanks to your ghost butler and to some fine attuning by Dr. Ravenglass, you know what's ahead of you when you go inside the auction house itself, because but for some reason I've described the auction house as looking like an auditorium. It's I don't know, I clearly I've never been to an auction house. So there's a stage, and there's where the seats are, and at the stage, kind of cored out where the auction houses is where the demon weed is. And go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, like the impression I got was that it was a former, like an opera house or something that they had repurposed for that.
Mm.
That was my, like in my head canon, it's like an old theater, like, with a dilapidated marquee that says, whatever, permanently closed, and that these are not necessarily like legit auctions that are happening, with the cream of Duskwallian society showing up here. So
Yeah. Yeah, I like that headcanon, which is now canon. Also, there's a ghost shield in laced in this part in this house, made up of a lot of like just ghosts that have been taken by the Dimmer Sisters, and it's projecting this weird dreamscape. Which, thanks to your ghost butler, you're not like affected by the moment, but like sometimes you're kind of flipped from the dilapidated actual place to like suddenly this like recreation of when this house was like in operation. So lots of people in fine clothes and whatnot. And yeah, so what's laying in store for you in the main stage, so to speak, is the kind of like where the auction lectern is. It's gonna be poured out on the stage, and you see that's where the demon weed is growing. Rosalind, no, we've changed her name because oh yeah, for anyone who's watching this, I mentioned last session that the servant who's working for the Dimmer Sisters is named Rosalind, and we realized Rosalind is actually the name of Victoria / Magpie's rival. So we've changed this servant's name to Paula, just so there's less confusion. And Paula's just come out of like the backstage, which is where the Magpie has snuck into. Also, Paula has two like hulls. Hulls are like these robotic steamwork golems, basically, that are animated by Ghost. Fun fact: you can become a hull if that were to happen in your campaign of Blades of Dark. There's an actual playbook for it. It's pretty rad. Also, yeah, as mentioned by Redcoat in chat, you all have a +1 for this score in the tune, thanks to your Ghost Butler. Should give a name. His name is Soren. He's not just Ghost Butler, but he kind of is. Yeah, exactly. Will, if Redcoat dies, come back as a hull, hit even harder. Oh yeah, we ended with like two kind of like images for cliffhangers. One, Magpie snuck into like the backstage, and you can see like it's like you're in this like long rectangular room. One half is like full of like the kind of mad scientist chemical apparatuses, and there's like there's some canisters for keeping ectoplasmic energy, and like beakers, and all that tithing nonsense,
like
and
alembics and stuff like that.
Yes. Oh god, alembics. Like sets of that. And the other half, the right half, is like a lot of crates, and all of them stamped with like this symbol of like this bird, kind of like one. It's kind of like looking to the profile of the bird. One wing, its wings kind of like spread open and what looks like feathers are coming out, but the feathers are like they look like as sharp as knives. So that stamp is there. And the other cliffhanger, as suggested by our good friend Stephen here, that as the dreamscape kind of flits in and out, you're suddenly noticing that like hanging around the foyer are ghosts who look a lot like your lovely female gargoyles that hang around your secure lair. And I'll say right now that like unless you're up against a tier 5 or tier 4 faction, and you're like still a tier 0, I'm not gonna like that secure upgrade means something, but this is a cool mystery to have here. So since let's leave Magpie for where they are at the moment. Let's cut back to like the main foyer. Let's cut to like Redcoat or Basil. Is Stephen back with us? I think he's still taking his work call. He can deal with the female ghosts for the moment. So let's come to you, Redcoat. So thanks to the Raven Doctor, that what's ahead of you. You've got Paula and your two ghost Iron Men. The demon weed is kind of like right there. And again, if you need like clarification what people are doing, like we can go to the flashback and see.
Sneaking in a different room.
Sorry, say that again.
Where's Magpie?
Magpie snuck ahead, basically.
Snuck ahead, right? So, Dr. Raven the Raven Doctor is
still with yourself, like all of you except for Magpie and the Widow, who's I don't know where she is. I don't know yet. We'll see. But yeah. So basically, in the foyer, you, Redcoat, the Raven Doctor, and Slider.
Well, Doc, what's up? What are we doing?
I would. I imagine I would like to have a look at these alembics. They look very fascinating. I would go and study them.
The thing is, you're not there with Magpie. Only Magpie's there with where the alembics is.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're okay.
You're still at the entrance. You attuned to the ghost field, but like you
I'm
didn't go.
To okay. Let's see then. I mean, I think the Magpie scouting ahead, so I will wait and I will maybe try to figure out some stuff about this dreamscape, because it could still hold some hints to what has happened and what's going on if you sift through it in the right way.
Yeah, I think the two of you will notice, like as the dreamscape kind of like flits in and out of your vision, those, I'm imagining, actually there's a group of them kind of clumped together. It's like, Handmaid's Tale style. These female ghosts kind of like in a line, kind of like going up towards where the entrance, we're
looking around and we turn and see Basil's like just mouth half open, looking over at these women that you didn't see 5 seconds before. I'm like,
yeah, absolutely.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I would like to let's see. I think I would like. Well, what the women are just staring at us, aren't they? Are they coming closer? I think.
They're like moving. They're like moving towards the door, towards the main auction house area, but they're kind of moving through you. It's weird. You can't tell if they're part of the dreamscape or if they notice you specifically. The main thing that's kind of like freaking Basil out is that they look a lot like the female gargoyles that dot your lair.
I think I would like to. I mean, we're waiting for the Magpie signal, basically, aren't we, to go in? So I honestly think that I can't think of anything in the fiction that we'll be doing in this holding area if it's not the Raven Doctor attuning to this weird shit some more, or cutting back to the Magpie.
Okay. I mean, I have my spirit mask and I can look through it and I will find a decent words.
I think Redcoat just sort of like clenches his fists a bit uncertainly and it sort of looks uncomfortable, basically.
It is I will assure him that it's very natural to feel nervous in the company of so many ghosts in this dreamscape.
Aye.
Okay, hold on. Let me just open up the thing. So actually, we get that nice little comforting moment. Like the Raven Dog is like, "Don't worry, Redcoat. We'll get you to beat up some people soon."
I did not say that, but I mean that would be condescending. No.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. So I think well, let's get the Magpie and see let's go to the Magpie and see what she's doing, and then that'll kind of color how you're dealing with the rest of this score. So Magpie, you're at you're in this what looks like a laboratory scene or room, and you've done quite well. You snuck behind Paula for sure. Try to remember what was the consequence I threw at you, because you rolled a 5. It's at a controlled standard.
I have someone noticed a guard noticed her.
One of the Hulks kind of turned around to take to kind of go, we joked about like the exclamation point appearing over his head.
Yes.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
That puts you in a risky position. I think that's what it
Yes,
is.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. All right. So yeah, what do you do in this?
As he turns towards me, I like dive across the room and kind of tuck and roll behind one of those crates and pop the lid and like clamber into it, fold up, and pull the lid down over the top.
All right. What are you rolling?
I'll pull a metal gear here, or better yet, if there's an empty crate there that I can just flip over and put on top of myself and just sit cross-legged inside of it. That would be awesome.
Let's see how the roll goes, and we'll determine if you get an empty crate or a full crate, or something within something that has something inside it.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like Prowl to me. This
Hell yeah.
is, which is described as prowl about unseen and traverse obstacles, climb, swim, run, jump, and tumble, which is exactly what I'm doing right now, trying to basically hide. So
this is going to be risky. Let's see. You're tier 0 and they're tier 2 hull. You're in a ghost field and you're kind of in their turf. So I'm going to say this is kind of limited for sure. Like it's not going to like, what I mean is like if you hit a complication, but if you succeed but hit a complication, it's not gonna be from them. You will get hit by a different complication, but like you probably won't.
And that's
we'll
fine.
see. We'll see. So risky limited. Do you wanna push yourself or go ahead?
Yeah, I'm gonna pay 2 stress to push myself, and I'm gonna push for effect and not dice.
Okay, cool.
So that I get it up to standard effect.
Hell yeah. Risky standard.
Do you have a devil's bargain for me?
Oh, do I have a devil's bargain?
Or can you take both? You can take both if you don't.
No,
Oh, you
not
can.
in this
It's
game.
push or devil's bargain. Okay, got it.
Yes,
Cool.
yeah.
So I'll spend the stress to push, and I will roll my prowl.
How's your stress?
I can take 4 more before I get any trauma.
Okay. Just wondering.
Risky. Standard.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah. No, you went for effect.
No bonus dice.
Hey!
There's my 6, brother. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So you tell me, you find this, is it proper Metal Gear? Like
Yeah, I think it is. Like, I think that's cool. I think there's no reason why, like I dive across the room, and like you said, there's that jumble of crates and stuff like that, and there's one there that I can see from the way the lid is slightly askew that they opened it and took out whatever was in it and did that, and I just pop right on there, and it's the thing where like as he is turning towards it, the lid just like the lid is settling, and that's where his vision goes on it. And I sit there for a moment, listening, and nobody raises an alarm or anything like that.
Yeah, and because it's a 6, I'll give you 2 things. 1, you go back up to control because you managed to shake off their attention. And 2, I think inside this crate you'll find there's a manifest or something like that's kind of tacked onto the inside, and you'll see that where this crate kind of came from. First off, that you already saw the symbol. That symbol's on this crate of that bird. And you see that this shipping crate, and probably a lot of it was sent from Brightstone, the fancy district.
Okay.
Actually, is it the fancy district? Actually, no. I should clarify this. I know it's
a fancy district.
Yeah, it's one of the fancy districts. But yeah, I should remind you, you're in Crow's Foot at the moment, which is kind of you don't expect to see the word of, it is Brightstone. You don't expect to see something from Brightstone here, but
sure.
You'll get that info that.
Yeah, I'll tuck that into my into my bodice or whatever, and and this is going to be, I got to wait a moment to to make sure that the that the attention is off of me here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think like you get that like quiet, like that tense sort of shiver. It's like kind of like I'm imagining like the way this hull is looking, the way we see it in the show, like their head is rotated backwards, but
Yeah, sure.
they're still facing towards where the entrance
Yep.
is, but like their head, which I'm imagining is like it's like a crude cylinder. That's kind of like it has like some gears and whatnot, but like there's like a crude painting of a human face on.
That's creepy as fuck. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very cool.
And they're kind of like rotating, and it's like the sound of a camera from BioShock. That
Yeah, it's like a comical handlebar mustache drawn on it or something
Yeah.
like that. That's supposed to humanize it. Yeah,
it's not great.
yeah.
Yeah. So for now, you've shaken their attention. I'll ask you if there's anything else you want to do, and then I'm gonna throw a move at the others to get them moving.
Sure. I mean, like having shaken their attention and he's off of me. Like I'm gonna crawl out and just like lift the lid on one of the crates that's full and just take a quick peek and see what's in there.
Ooh. Let me do a fortune roll because I've got some stuff written down. Okay, so you know how in this game, like you kind of some supernatural entities will like inflict terror on sight, that sort of thing. I know you live with a ghost butler, but this is kind of like something else entirely. So I think you peek into the crate, and I think we just get a shot of like your eyes kind of like widen, and I'm gonna need you to do like a resist.
Sure.
At the moment, I think it's gonna be a resolve, because I think your senses are gonna be flooded by something bad. We'll see how you do, and then
Okay.
we'll
So I've got 2 abilities in resolve, so that means I roll 2 dice. Is that how that works?
Yes,
I can probably just click. I just click resolve. It's a resolve roll, right?
Yes.
No bonus dice. 5 and 4.
Cool. So you suffer 6 stress minus the highest. You take 1.
1 stress. Okay.
Yeah. So
and I like clamp my hand over my mouth to keep myself from gasping or whatever.
Yeah. We'll get to what you found in a moment. Actually, no. We should end with that shot. I think what you find is, I think it's like a disassembled well, it looks mundane because it's like a disassembled like hull. I think is kind of like what you find. So I think it's only half of it. Like you got the top half. You got maybe like some arms, and the hands are like these porcelain like doll like hands that are kind of, it looks horrifically articulated. Like it's like someone really tried to recreate the workings of like hand muscles and whatnot. And again,
like it feels like these things, just like the harder people try to make them look human, just the further you're dropping into the uncanny valley, it feels like with these. That's
yeah. And I was gonna say the head is like, instead of a painting, it's like a porcelain sculpture now. But you can tell it can't move. But
like a wake mannequin or something.
Yeah, but it looks like it's breathing. That's what made you like freak out.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So you have that, and then I'll cut to the folks at the entrance. I think as Redcoat and the Raven Doctor are kind of commiserating of each other, I think the female ghosts, what I described as a Handmaid's Tale procession, stop at the front of the entryway towards the main room where the auction house is, and they all kind of turn in one motion towards, like, their heads kind of move towards your direction, Redcoat, and you kind of hear this like soft kind of like whisper kind of go, sister, is that one? Oh, one stained with blood, one stained with violence. Is that one we spy, sister? It's kind of like they're murmuring to each other, and they kind of like in lockstep. They kind of move. They take a step closer, kind of towards you, Redcoat.
Redcoat hand reaches into his pocket to hold the Spirit Bane charm that he has there. So I'm going to tick that off on my options for my loadout. Where is the equipment in the book? I cannot find it.
Yeah, for Spirit Brain Charms, if it's like specific ones, you have to go to each specific playbook.
Okay.
If it's in the gray box. If
I
it's
believe
the
it's... Yeah, I believe the description is simply a small charm that ghosts prefer to avoid.
Yeah, I think they kind of like shiver when you kind of pull that out. Hold on, actually, it's small charm. Yeah, for generic like items like Spirit Brain Charms, if you go to like the player kit, they're usually there.
Yeah, I just cannot. Maybe I'm being blind. I just cannot find any of the gear, like beyond just the name of them. You know.
Yeah, small arcane trinket that ghosts prefer to avoid.
I don't know if that actually is supposed to be on my. Oh, it is on my sheet. Never mind. Yeah.
Okay.
It's weird. It's not in the book on the special items, but it is on the sheet. So I think it's just one of those small errors that I've got through.
I think when you pull it out, the ghost shiver, and Dr. Raven Doctor, you feel the ghost field around you shiver a bit, as if like, oh, someone's brought like, something that kind of like is making the ghost field a bit more aware of you all.
So they don't like it.
They don't like it, yeah.
Okay.
And so like the female doctors kind of like step back a bit, but they still kind of keep whispering like.
I think Redcoat looks over at the doctor and says, do you want to deal with your patients, Doc?
Well, yes, I think I will. Hold on to my hook for me. I don't want to intimidate them too much.
Of course.
And I give you my my fine lightning hook just to hold on to, because I don't. Right now, I want to talk to them instead of intimidating them, and then we'll step up to them and say, "Fine ladies, good evening."
Nice. Well, that means I've got a lightning hook to hit them with if it goes wrong.
Please don't use my lightning hook to hit people. Well, yeah, well, I step up to them and say, good evening, fine ladies. How does the knife find you?
I think like their attention is kind of like, their still eyes are like warily on Redcoat. I think one of them turns to you, and the whispering kind of goes like, it's the doctor of feathers, it's the doctor of nights, the doctor of corvids. What does he want? What does he aim? What does he want from us? What is he looking for?
Dear ladies, what are you doing in this fine auction area? Are you imprisoned, or are you here by your own volition? I
think like a collective shiver goes amongst them as you like try to entreat. I think it's gonna be like an action roll to like try to fully like convince them to talk to you.
Oh well, then I will pull myself up a bit and I say, kind ladies, do not fear. I am the Raven Doctor, and I ask you to speak to me, because I really want to use command.
Yeah.
I don't have anything. I have a tune, but I think command is the thing I would use, and I will. I have no stress. I will push myself. Yay!
Yeah. Take an extra die. Is anyone assisting? Yeah, Steven, just like catch you up on what's happened. Your female gargoyle ghosts, they're kind of arranged themselves into a group like Handmaid's Tale style in a line. They've rounded on Redcoat, and then Redcoat put out a Spirit Bane charm. It's kind of like put them on edge, and the Raven Doctor is trying to entreat with them. Meanwhile, Magpie has snuck into the lab that's at the back of the auction house and has opened one of the crates and found a shipping manifest that means the crates come from Brightstone, which is like the fancy district where all the wealthy people live, and snuck into another crate and found a half-assembled hull, which is like, a steampunk golem type where you stuff ghosts into, and this hull is like breathing slightly, so that's fun. So meanwhile, you Slider, you're still in the entrance for. You're watching the Raven Doctor try to talk to these ghosts.
Do hulls always breathe?
Depends on the hull, but usually not.
Oh,
No,
okay.
because they don't need to technically, because they're dead. So,
I'll assist the Raven Doctor with the entry.
ooh,
Very nice.
How are you assisting? How's Slider doing this?
Sabine, what are you doing?
I'm
Sorry.
trying to get them to tell me if they are captive here or if they're here voluntarily, and if so, what are they doing here and how did they come to? I'm trying to get some information out of them, basically.
Okay. So I think Slider is definitely going to holster both of his guns for one thing. So he doesn't look like he's trying to kill them all. But you know what? I think he's going to take off that like elaborate feathered hat that he always wears, that big like tricorn feather hat that he has on. And he's going to like bow low on one knee in a gentlemanly fashion next to her while she's sort of a supplication pose while she's asking these questions.
He, Dr. Ravenglass's male.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
Well,
so
he-
take
Oh, okay.
so Slider, you're gonna take 1 stress for assisting, and Dr. Ravenglass, you get an extra die. You're still in a controlled position somehow.
Yeah, well, are you surprised, really?
No, not really. No. Again, the number of 6s yesterday is ridiculous. Yeah. So this can be controlled
controlled.
standard. I'd say.
Submit, standard, submit, 2 bonus dice. No, not 3. Don't be greedy. Submit.
Hey,
To see.
it's a 4. So.
Oh no!
Well,
Damn.
oh, you're in a controlled position. So.
Yeah.
So on a 4 to 5 on controlled, you hesitate. And I think the hesitation comes from like you try to command them because you rolled command instead of like a chew, which is something else. So you try to command them, and they just kind of like they round on you and Slider as if they're using this excuse to get away from Redcoat because Redcoat's pulled out the Spirit Fang charm, and they're
and has the lightning hook rod. So.
and is holding the lightning hook. Yeah, you gave him the lightning hook, and so they kind of like and I think the whispering amongst them kind of like because the ways they don't really talk directly to you, they kind of whisper amongst themselves, and the whispering is kind of like, oh, he thinks he seeks to command us, sisters. He seeks to make us bow to him. He seeks to make him submit to his will. Yeah, he seeks so much, our Dr. Feathers. He seeks so much. And I think like their faces are kind of like narrowing a bit. So if we can withdraw and try a different approach with say not command, or you can press on and you'll get a minor consequence, like a minor complication occurs, you may have reduced effect, you may suffer lesser harm, or you may end up in a risky position.
I like the last option. Yes, I will push on, of course, and I will say to these sisters, I will say, come, sisters, now. I am the doctor, right here, right now. I am the living, you are the dead. Heed my command.
Wow.
When our positions are reversed or on the same footing, I will heed yours.
Okay, so you'll get what you want. All right, but I think you will absolutely end up in a risky position. So what happens is they bristle at your words and they say, the Dr. Feathers and his charming friend, and there's a titter directed at you, Slider. The Dr. Feathers, his charming friend, his friend coated in blood, and they kind of turn to Redcoat. They seek to free us, sisters. They believe us to be chained. They believe us to be trapped here. And I think as they kind of say that, you see that like their kind of like disposition changes. I'm imagining the dreamscape around you is kind of like has this weird like kind of yellow filter sepia tinge, and for the moment those ghosts are kind of like tinged like that, but then like a color change is happening. You can see like they're changing from this like sepia yellow tinge like this pale blue, and they say like they think us prisoners, but we know the truth, right, sisters? We are wardens. We are We are watchers. We are observers. We 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 watch them flit about. We watch them try to contain us, to understand us. They understand. They don't understand much, do they, sisters? They understand so very little. And I think here's where the risky position comes in. You hear like mechanical whirring inside, and you hear like a soft voice kind of like talking to herself, but you can't really make out what she's saying because suddenly you hear like the lumbering clunk, clunk, and like the clicking of gears, and even like some sparks of electricity, because why not? As you hear this like lumbering metal behemoth coming towards your direction, where Redcoat and Slider and you are Dr. Raven Doctor. Called you Dr. Feathers Officer, but that's not your name.
Go ahead. I don't think so. Is mine. And he will turn around towards this behemoth coming up and look at Redcoat and say, "Well, that seems to be up. That seems to be more your alley than mine."
And I think Redcoat tosses back the lightning hook and pulls out his like big club, and you know, like if this thing is walking into the room, I think he just jumps straight to attack it.
Before we jump into that, I do want to know what the widow is up to, or do we get like a hint of what she's prepared, or do we want us to do this attack with Redcoat first?
No, I think I've got something suitably nondescript to go with, which I think we just kind of get a cutaway to the widow, sat at a table. She's we sort of see her obviously pouring tea for someone else who sat opposite her, and then pours a cup for herself, but we don't see who it is that she's with.
Okay, sure. All right. Let's get into this action, Redcoat. Yeah, I think that the doors burst open, and like this 8-foot tall collection of pipes and gears, shaped like a man, kind of like bursts in, and I'm imagining his body is kind of like it looks cylindrical. So it looks like it kind of looks like a can of Pringles with like a smaller cylinder on top, and like hands and legs kind of like just bolted onto it. And you can see that like there's like this like glass sort of tube inside this cylinder, and you can see that like some sort of weird ectoplasmic energy is on it. And for your sake, Stephen, because like you weren't here when we were describing the head, it's like this cylindrical head with like this human face painted on a part of it, so just like to simulate some human face. And yeah, the way this thing kind of like speaks, it roars at you, but it roars the way an engine is revving up, which is weird. What do you do, Redcoat?
Well, I think this is definitely a skirmish roll from the sounds of it. So why don't I roll that, and then we'll see how badly I do, and that'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see. What you're using, a fine heavy weapon, which is grand.
Yep.
This is risky, I'm gonna say, because of your fine, and it's a heavy weapon. Normally, it would be limited if it wasn't heavy, because you're tier 0, and the Dimmer Sisters are tier 2. But because it's heavy and it's big, you got to smash into it. It brings up the standard, so it's a risky standard.
Okay. Could I use arcane implements in some way? How would that work? Perhaps I could say that maybe I've got some sort of arcane material: a vial of quicksilver, a pouch of black salt. I don't know. Like perhaps I could throw the black salt, which deadens ghost energy, across the kind of like a sort of like throw it as I run in, and then jump off a wall and crash down with a stick to hit the spot that I marked with the salt.
Like there's got to be something you can just like rub on the bat, right? Like
I got the vial of quicksilver. Then should we say that's what that does? And like I basically I crack open as it's stomping down the corridor. I crack open the vial from one of the pouches upon my thing, and then pull out a rag, and then just like shink, wipe the baton with it. Yeah.
Let me double check actually what Quicksilver does, because like it's a specific alchemical thing. Bullets made of Quicksilver. Yeah. Oh, it's a Quicksilver is a toxic metallic fluid. The user's mind opens further to the. It opens up your mind. That's what Quicksilver does to the ghost field. It gives you a 1D in a tune. I don't know if that's what you want to do, but
No.
we can say here that like.
I don't know. It's a black salt solution, something like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I'll let because you bothered to like describe it. I'll give you the +1 effect for that against this hull.
So
Because
how
it
many
means like
dice?
let's see, you skirmish, you got 2 dice. It's now risky great instead of risky standard because you went for the because usually when you add stuff like with vials and whatnot, it ups your effect.
Cool.
Not exactly dice unless it's for a specific thing, like when you attune, you get a D when you +1D when you use Quicksilver. But this is a skirmish.
Okay.
Do you want to push yourself or take a devil's bargain?
What would a devil's bargain be?
Well, you use Quicksilver, right? I think you will attune to the ghost field. And what's going to happen is these lovely ladies here, they will be able to attune to you.
Okay. I think I'm just going to push myself and take the
Okay,
stress.
all right.
Yeah. So that's 2 stress, is it, to push myself?
Yes, 2 stress.
And 1
or
extra dice.
die. Yeah. Is anyone assisting?
Sure.
Slide is going to assist.
Yeah, you want to assist, or should I assist? I mean,
Let's see. Who has the less stress? Who can afford to assist?
I've only got 2.
oh,
both.
so have I.
Oh, both of you have 2.
Yeah. So do you have an idea how you would do it? Because I do, but if you've got something better, then you go ahead.
No, I was basically gonna, if he gets into a fist fight, I was basically gonna like shoot the hole's fist as it was like coming toward his face or something like that. But if you got something better, then that's fine.
I mean, I've still got the lightning hook, and I might try to draw out the ghost a bit.
Yeah,
So-
do that. Do that.
So just to make it a little uncomfortable in its weird skin thing.
Yeah, Eldritch Blast fires out of the lightning hook or something. Like,
Yeah, no, it's just I take the hook and I grab at the hull, and it seems you don't. You took the Quicksilver, so maybe you see some kind of ectoplasmic smear come out of it a little.
cool. So that's 2 dice then, right?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm a bit rusty on my blades.
No worries. Yeah, 1 extra die for pushing yourself. Another 1 for. Ooh, you got a 5. All right. All right. So 5 on a risky grade, and I put up a clock for the hulls for both of them. And 5 on a risky grade gets you up to 3 ticks. So you will tell me how you beat the crap out of this hull. But first, I'll read out what happens on a 4 to 5. So on a 4 to 5, you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer harm, a complication occurs, you have reduced effect, you end up in a desperate position. So here's what happens to you, Redcoat. Actually, no, tell me first, how do you beat the crap out of this hull?
I mean, I think it's Redcoat goes running in as the doctor, like, jabs forward with the hook. And the hull like rears back as it gets snagged by the hook, and then Redcoat like jumps off the wall, like takes like one of those quick like 1-2 steps and then off, and then comes crashing down on the hull, like sending massive sparks and like knocking this massive thing just like back a step as he like ducks under a massive blow that comes back at him in return.
Yeah, I think like when you knock him back, you knock him back into the end, back into the main atrium, and like the other hull sees this. Paula, who's there, sees this, and you in the melee of the hull. And I think the complication is going to happen to you is the devil's bargain I threatened you with. So I think as you kind of like knock him back, and you're feeling like blood's pumping. This is what you do. I think you suddenly hear again those sisters can say, "Ooh, the man coated in red. He's in his element, isn't he, sisters? He's doing what he does best, doesn't he, sisters?"
And what would resist be?
Resist is... let me describe the consequence first before you see if you resist or not. What happens is they attune. That's weird because like the ghost field is something you attune to. When they attune to you, it feels like they're digging through like your memories, and like for a moment, I think and the Raven Doctor and Slider will see this. It's like coming from the back of your head. It's almost like this weird warp projection starts coming out, and like suddenly you can choose to resist this before they see any of your.
I think Redcoat is far too stubborn to not resist this from the.
That's fair. All right. So for resisting, I choose what category you're resisting with, depending on the fiction. This sounds like a resolve. You're like, not letting them see this. So what you're going to do is you can click that resolve, the word resolve there, and it'll roll that one command die that you have. And you will take 6 stress minus the result that you roll. Yeah.
Can I boost that in any way? Or?
No. You can only boost like action rolls, like the pushing yourself and all that. Resisting is like unless you have like certain special abilities that add dice to resistance.
So I could potentially lose 5 stress in this one. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Screw it. Let's see.
Hey, that's a 6. So you get no. Jesus, your resolve is really good. How does it look like when like you feel the sisters digging into your head and like, ooh, give me a brief glimpse of like the memory they found that Redcoat's like, nah, no one's gonna see this.
I think like the memory flashes onto like Redcoat, Solomon Reigns in a blood spattered blue coat uniform, bleeding heavily, like gunshot wound in his shoulder, bleeding from a gut wound, and just like staggering his way out of like a room that's just like wall-to-wall carnage with dead blue coats and other people there, and he's staggering out, and he hears like the noise of bells and whistles of the blue coats coming down the street, and he starts running in another direction away from it, and then he just like snaps back, spits out a swear, and shrugs it off just in time to duck underneath another blow from the hull.
Yeah. I think like for Raven Doctor and Slider and Paula, who's there, who looks furious, because y'all are interfering with her. They only get like the shot of like Redcoat in the spattered blue coat, like just sighing like that, and then it just disappears. And Redcoat's like, fuck you, and just gets into the fight. Okay, we've been here for like an hour. Let's take a quick 5-minute break, and then I'll probably come to Slider and then Magpie and the Widow. But Widow, feel free to jump in at any moment. So let's take 5. Come back at 10 to the hour. All right, we're back to Blades in the Dark, Vigilantes of Duskwall. How are folks doing? Just a quick check-in. Folks doing okay? Hell yeah. Let's see all those thumbs up. So let's turn to Slider for a bit. So Redcoat has gotten to the fight with this one hall inside this main auction area where the two of them are fighting now. You see ahead of you is a second hull, who looks pretty much exactly like the one that Redcoat's fighting, except instead of a human face with a handlebar mustache, this one has like a human face with like pink cheeks, like rouge has been applied to it. And there is Paula, who I've described as like, tall, refined, really looks like a lady's maid who shouldn't be here in dank old crow's foot. And she just kind of like, her face kind of like twists into this like surprise and like just indignant. Looks like we have heroes here. And she kind of like points this like crooked finger. Oh, that looks really cool on the camera. At the two who are not fighting the hull, which is you, Slider, and the Raven Doctor. And so the second hull kind of just kind of starts doing that revving up, roaring engine noise, and kind of starts lumbering, but it's lumbering at like a speed you don't really expect. Slider, what do you do? Oh, Redcoat. Yes, I need there. Oh, cool. So what do you do, Slider?
So are the ghosts still visible, the ghost ladies?
It's hard to make them out because suddenly a melee is happening. So like the dreamscape is kind of like has stopped flickering in and out, but you can tell they're all kind of still there. They're all kind of like gathered around Redcoat at the moment. If you like look for them directly.
Okay, Slider is still on one knee with his hat kind of clutched across his chest, but he's looking over to the side and watching Redcoat battle it out with the first of the hulls. So he lunges forward and puts his hat on at the same time, kisses the ephemeral air of one of these young ladies' hands, and at the same time he does that, he pulls both his pistols out and unleashes a flurry to suppress the two holes in place, because
Hell
he
yeah.
has the sharpshooter skill.
Ooh, so you're pushing yourself to be able to do this.
Yes.
So you'll get an extra die and take 2 stress. Yeah, but that means that like Redcoat will not be in a melee with 2. He'll stay with 1, and the other hole will be suppressed by this action. Hell yeah! So what are you rolling with this?
Is that hunt, since I'm attacking with precision shooting from a distance?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So this is going to be risky. I'd say you have fine fair pistols. Oh, and electroplasmic ammunition. Like
Oh
that.
yeah, I should have mentioned. So does that affect hulls because they're spirits, but they're incorporeal?
Yeah,
like-
that's the benefit of putting them in a robot body. It kind of like it almost kind of negates the electroplasmic ammunition. Well, it will help, but like I think it will only boost you up. Normally, if you're like fighting a ghost, it'll boost you probably to great. But again, dimmer sisters are tier 2, and you're tier 0. It only, and along with a fine pair of pistols, it'll only bring you up to standard, I'd say. Which risky standard, that's pretty good.
Risky standard, and then bonus dice, I get
Anyone assisting before you click on that? Is anyone assisting? The Raven Doctor, Widow, probably not. Or Redcoat, you want to assist?
I think I can assist by like, kicking a table or like flinging something at the hull, or sending the hull that I'm fighting like staggering into its path for a second. Like just in the fight, basically in the skirmish.
Nice. Take 1 stress, and you get another die. So you have 2 bonus dice. Hey, Jim. Slider is in the midst of kissing one of the sister's hands, and then going on to like take his pistols out and shoot, suppress the shit out of this second hull. They're inside the main room now. So
the
yes,
2 bonus dice.
yes, risky standard.
Okay.
Whoa, that's a crit. So your effect goes up by 1, so it actually is now risky great. So you can add 3 ticks to that hull clock. So yeah, this second hull can like bounce up to you, but tell me, how do you keep it suppressed? Because it's gonna get jostled by the other hull as well, as per Redcoat's like plan. But how do you like stop it from like interfering with you or anyone else?
So I think so he's got 4 barrels basically. He's got 2 barrel pistols, and the first 2 shots he launches off, and they sort of hit the thing in the chest and like knock it back, and then the barrels like rotate up. The bottom 2 barrels rotate up, and as this thing lunges forward, Slider takes really careful aim down both barrels at the same time and shoots it in both knees simultaneously, which makes it sort of like falter and fall forward.
Yeah, I think it'll fall on its knees and kind of like bring its hands up to like stop it. But like I think the hands are also, I think both their hands are kind of like made of this like articulated porcelain, and I think if you hear some of it crack, and you hear just to add, because you got the credit of this, you hear like Paula is kind of like screaming in like frustration, saying like, I warned the mistress. We shouldn't have parted with the dimmer sisters. We should have parted with someone else. And yeah, she's losing the plot, so to speak. She's basically saying that her mistress shouldn't have partnered with the dimmer sisters. Turns out they employ cheap hoes.
That's Paula,
So,
right?
Yeah,
Who's
just,
shouting?
just as another bit of color at the end of that, as Slider pulls both his pistols up and blows the smoke out of the barrels, and then he looks over at these ephemeral ladies again, and he says, "Your beauty motivates me, my dear."
I think again you hear like the whispering amongst them, but you can see them like turn to each other. It's kind of like, what did they call you again? I think they say something like, "Oh, he is a gent. Oh, he makes for a wonderful gent. We should watch more of him. It seems he'll grow to be quite a hero, won't he, sisters? Oh yes, yeah, he seems, yeah." And I think like, yeah, they're kind of like whispering to each other. It's a bit more frenzy than what they're doing. I'm gonna cut to either Widow or Magpie. Do we get another shot of Widow Penderyn and what she's up to, or?
Yeah, I was thinking actually. I have an idea for a way of contributing towards the score, if that's okay. If
Yeah,
that makes
go ahead.
sense. But yeah, so I think when we kind of go back, we see the other person that she's talking to, and I think that she has arranged a meeting with. Well, I say a meeting. She has popped in to have tea with someone who. Like a what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, someone who works down at the docks, a kind of foreman, to find out about this strange demon weed stuff that seems to maybe be coming in from Eruvia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think to find out like what the info is, tell me what you're rolling with. I'm gonna say this is like a setup action for anyone in the house itself who's contributing to that info on demon weed clock. Does that make sense?
Sure thing. So yeah, it will. I think it's probably actually Sway, because I think I'm probably trying to get something out of him.
Yeah, this foreman who do you have a name for them? If not, I'm looking at this name generator.
I think that his name is. We don't have an Isaac kicking around, do we?
And Isaac, is that what you said? Sorry.
Yeah,
yeah, no,
Isaac. I think it'll be. I had a name and then entirely lost it. It will be Isaac Colburn.
Ooh, put that somewhere. Isaac Colburn, and yeah, I think he looks like, he's a foreman who's been around for a while. He's absolutely like almost a veteran of these, even though like that like he's only in his 30s, and yet he's been in these docks. But you can his experience working in these docks, have been there for a while, and he just says, "Miss Penderyn, that's some tricky business you're looking into. I have to be sure that it's worth sticking my neck out to be imparting this info, ma'am." And I think like he's holding to his teacup like he's not holding it the handles. He's holding it like he's holding a beer pint glass, which is, and you don't know how he's holding on to that, even though it's quite warm.
Yeah. I'll say, of course, dear, I wouldn't want you to get yourself into any trouble at all now. Are you? Well, I remember when you were knee high to a grasshopper, you were, and I used to know your old dad. It was a pity what happened to him, but
Oh, it's the pity, ma'am. But I've heard. It's always good to hear. My dad, he gave his life to the docks, and well, docks don't give a shit about how much he gave, but it's always good to hear.
I lost my first husband out on a whaler. I did. It's sea's a cruel mistress, they say, whether you're on it or just hanging around near the edge. But like I said, I don't want you to get into any trouble over this. And as far as I can tell, this is all perfectly above board and on the level. But I'm sure there's something I can do for you. I can owe you a favor. I'm sure I can if there's anything you ever need. I just need to know what ships have been coming in from Eruvia lately, and any new customers that you've not been dealing with before, bringing in something probably on a fast ship. We're talking live produce here.
Yeah, all right. So this is where we do the roll then. So you say you're rolling with sway. I'm gonna say this is risky standard. And I remind folks, you can always trade position for effect. You can always go from a risky standard to a desperate great. Now, why would everyone want to be in a desperate position? Get XP. That's why. But since it's a setup action, I don't know if like getting better effect. Well, you get more info, I suppose.
Cool. Actually, I think what I might do as well is I think I'm going to cross off my fine bottle of whiskey again, and I think that she just sort of puts a. I think this is probably something that she's already given him as she sort of turned up to his well, I say office. It's probably like the corner of a warehouse, but yeah, she's handed over a little liquid bribe as well as the tea.
All right, that will put you up to a risky grade then. See,
Cool.
sometimes you don't have to trade position or effect. You just use the items on you. Yeah, I think you know that Isaac loves like a bit of a tumble. Cool, risky grade. You pushing yourself, or do you want a devil's bargain?
I am. I'll listen to a bargain actually. Yeah. Oops.
Ooh. Let's see. I'm gonna add a tick to a spirit's attention, which is that cruise sheet on the clock there. Just one tick.
Go on then.
Yeah, you can survive one tick. You'll be fine.
I would have just suggested that maybe the Widow Penderyn is drinking too much these days and she takes a harm.
That'd be interesting. I mean, I have an idea for a complication for hers. It might be that, but I am interested in getting this spirit's attention to clock up. But
that's fair, yeah.
Even with extra dice, you could always roll below a 6. Maybe you can take harm. No one has taken any harm yet. I should think about that. But yeah, so take that extra die. I don't know if anyone's assisting you from here.
Probably not. I don't think this is.
Yeah. So all right, 4-2 and a risky great. So a couple things you get from that. You get a 4. Means anyone who's doing an info on demon weed trying to fill that clock, they're gonna have an increased effect because it's setup action. But let's see, on a 4 and a risky grade, you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer harm, complication occurs, a reduced effect. Okay. I think he'll gratefully take like a swig of whiskey infusion, and he says, trade with Eruvia is heavily controlled these days, but so you need special dispensation to be able to get ships out there. We've had a few coming in, and there's at least 3. Actually, no, he doesn't say 3. There's one. It's called. Let me look at my. Sorry. I tried to look up ship name generator. It gave me a couple name generator. I was like, not that kind of ship, not that kind of ship internet.
Spockkirk. Yeah.
Yeah. There's this one ship, the Spearhead, it's called. It's made its way back to Eruvia quite recently, and there's a lot of skullduggery around that ship, ma'am. Like shipping manifests, and I think we get like a cut to like that shipping manifest that you're looking at, Magpie. And you see that those crates came true from the Spearhead. So not just like the demon. When you like, or if you like we get a cut shot of like Magpie going to the laboratory. You see like the other crates, the ones not full of half hulls. There are like some mark that came from the Spearhead. You're like, it's a lot of hush hush in it, ma'am. Someone's been paying quite a bit of money and influence to make sure that like we're not even allowed to like look into these crates, even though I've got seniority, I've got authority. A lot of a lot of thuggish sorts, making sure it's not allowed. And the only thing I could get from that is, well, whoever wants this to not be seen, they must be well connected. They've got a lot of capital, and they've got a flair for the dramatics, I suppose, ma'am, because they've started calling themselves a name. They're calling themselves the Nightingale, ma'am. Someone's making a play to make themselves big here in Duskwall. And as far as I can tell, I'll give the board this because you got it great. As far as I can tell, this stuff from Iruvia is just the start. There's spookier stuff. Here, ma'am. And I think, like, as soon as you say like spookier stuff, you feel a shiver in the air, and I think I'm going to fill that clock, spirit's attention. And I think you feel something sticky latch onto your soul. I don't know. How does that feel? I don't know, but that's what it is. You feel something like wet but sticky, can like start almost like crawling up your soul, and you're gonna take a level 2 harm, I'd say. That's and the level 2 harm is gonna be haunted. Do you want to resist that?
I would like to resist that, please. Yep.
Cool. So I'm gonna say is normally in blades there's like a lever on how hard the resist can go. If you want a grimmer game, you resist usually from if you resist a harm, it only goes down from level 2 to level 1. But since we're trying to be heroic, vigilantes here, we'll go for the lighter side, in which case if you resist harm, it's just gonna go away. So don't be afraid to resist harm or like use armor. I would say with armor it's just going to be reduced down, but if you have chance to resist away. I'm going to say this is with resolve, and I think when this thing latches onto you, it's not going to take away the spirit's attention. I'm going to say it now that this is going to be a consequence that could pop up from now on because that clock's filled. So you're gonna have to do a lot of resists, I suppose. But like I think when it latches on, you hear like this kind of otherworldly voice. Like it doesn't sound like a ghost, because you know what a ghost sounds like, because you've hung around a ghost butler, and it's almost like it's like a choir talking to you, and this choir just says in this like perfect pitch, the chance goes through your head, just goes, "You should not interfere, madam. You should not get in our way, madam." And I see you're going to resist with resolve.
Sure thing.
And that'll color how you resolve this. All right, so your highest is 4, you're going to take 2 stress. So how do you like shake off this thing's attention?
Yeah, so I think that the widow like pauses for a moment, and does that sort of thing of like looking around her, and I think what she does actually is she quickly drains the rest of her tea, almost like knocking it back like a shot sort of thing, and just and quickly like spins the teacup around so that the tea leaves settle at the bottom. I'm going to say they settle in the shape of a something like possibly a dog, maybe a slightly wonky dog, and no, wait, no, not a dog. It will be a fish of some sort, and she will just look down at the tea leaves and kind of look back up into the air again and say, "Not today, love."
I think like when you say that, the tea leaves, you see them try to rearrange themselves, and I think the fish will start to turn into the shape of, I think what looks like to you is like it looks like the sun, I'd say. And I think like, yeah, you shake off the thing's attention.
Cool.
And I think like Isaac's just like, sure, at your own time, Miss Penderyn, at your own time. It's like you said that out loud, and he's no idea.
Yeah. I'll just say, "Oh, don't mind me, dear. I'm half doolally in my old age, so I am."
Yeah. All right. So we cut back to the laboratory. So I'm gonna say you passed on this like info that like, so this is this, and I think we see that you recognize Magpie. This is the mark of the Nightingale. Again, really rich from Brightstone. Someone is spending a lot of money to like start a crime wave of what it looks like. So you have increased effect for trying to find more info on this demon weed in this laboratory. I'm gonna say if you fill that, and then we fill this hall clock, score done. So what do you do, Magpie? And you're probably you're reeling from seeing that breathing hull, I suppose.
And I kind of look at it, and I grab up a sack, and I like twist the head off of the, the thing or whatever. If I have to like unscrew it or like pop a couple of bolts or something, and I hold it up, and I look it in the eyes, and I say, "You don't deserve this. I'm going to take you somewhere much better." And I pop the head into a bag.
Yeah.
Which I then, whatever, sling over my shoulder or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that like, I think to try to pop it off and like just get away from here, I think it's gonna require like a roll of some sort. Actually, no. I'll give you the head. You're a thief. You're
just the head. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is that all you want to do in this laboratory spot, or?
No, no. Once I've got that, then I like dart over to the workbench with all the alembics and all that kind of stuff, and then whatever, and test tubes and beakers and whatever and things. Like, is there actually like stuff like bubbling and boiling and things like this?
Yeah, I think it's that classic mad scientist sort of. Yeah, there's pistons are going, there's things that are bubbling.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna go across the desk and just sweep whatever papers I find, just grab them up and just tuck them, like I said, into my, like stuff them down my boots and, up the ends of my gloves and stuff and whatever information I can find here.
Yeah. So this is going to be an action roll. What do you be rolling for this, do you think?
I think this is probably survey a location or situation, understand what's going on, gather information about opportunities or exploits. Does that sound right? Yes,
absolutely. And I think you're in a risky position. Everyone is in risky at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this is standard. Yeah, I'll say this is standard. I think for, it's your standard coming in, take stuff, and then get out. Do you want to push yourself or take a devil's bargain? Oh, sorry. You have increased effect. Sorry, so because of this, the Widow's setup action. So it is actually going to be great. Risky, great.
What's my devil's bargain?
I think you don't know if it's your imagination, but you hear maybe some of the crates rattling. You're going to be in a desperate position. Actually, no, and not that. I think you will hear Paula's voice go like, you take care of the interlopers. I have to see to my mistress's work. and you'll hear her running towards you, towards where you are. So
That's hardly a devil's bargain.
I know. I'm bad at like putting in a spot.
Temptation. Yes.
Yeah.
No, it absolutely does put me in a spot. So, but I will take that devil's bargain that I'm going to have to get past her to get out. Like, it sounds like that's what you're saying, is that like, I can't just sneak out. She'll see me and I'll have to deal with her. Is that what's going on?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll totally take that.
Cool. All right.
So that's an extra die.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry. Risky great.
Yep. So here is survey. Risky. Effect is great. 1 bonus die.
Hey, that's a 4. So you basically fill this clock. You get the info, and you'll we'll figure out what that info you got is. We go into downtime, so fill that clock. So yeah, I think you get like a lot of stuff, like letters, some documentation. You get to see like, some stuff like they went to the Dimmer sisters for like info or whatnot, and you see like, letters from the Nightingale, but you can tell that like they were penned here. But we'll get to like, basically there'll be some opportunities to exploit in the future. We'll push that for the moment, because I think the doors burst open and Paula like steps in and she sees you, and she just goes like, "The Midnight Magpie," and she pulls out a rapier. And she says like, there's nowhere for you to run, Magpie. I'm afraid we've set up this cage specifically for you. And as she says that, like kind of like the dreamscape kind of like shivers around you as she kind of like points a rapier at you. We'll see what you do first, and then we'll cut to like the fight and the with the hulls.
Actually, I wanted to talk to Paula, and if she's running out, I would have followed her.
So you're gonna leave Slider and Redcoat?
Yeah, I mean, come on. These 2 guys, they can handle these hulls. I mean, they don't need me. But I want to talk. I mean, she's more interesting than the hulls and anything, because there's the laboratory, and we have caused enough noise. We've made enough noise so that I don't think we will give Magpie away. So I'm going to follow her.
Yeah, so I think I don't want to like, because the complication was like Magpie's gonna be accosted by Paula. I think she will be in between the 2 of you, so she'll say that, and I think you're right behind her, Raven Doctor, and she shouts all this stuff.
Cool. And I will tap her on the shoulder quite politely with a lightning hook and say, "Excuse me, my dear. Might we have a word?"
I think she'll spin around and it's like, "A word?
Your work is quite interesting."
And she'll turn around to go ahead.
How do you do it?
I think like she's confused. I think like she wants to turn around, and no, she's turning around back and forth because she's like, she wants to keep both of you in her peripheral vision. I think it's just like, we're in the. I think
my dear, you are in a losing position right here. Maybe you want to drop your rapier and come with us quietly, and nobody gets hurt. Doesn't that sound fine?
This sounds like a roll. What are you rolling with? Oh, go on, Jim.
And I think I will. Oh. Will you assist me?
I will.
Cool. I think it's command though, because that's also intimidation I read, and so I want to use that because I know that one. And if you help me.
Yeah, and so that cost me 1 stress to help.
Mm-hmm.
And we are basically trying to get her to intimidate her into like surrendering.
Yeah.
So, and the magpie, and I grin at her and I say, "Oh, I'm not going to run. I usually fly, but I would listen to the doctor, and I snap my arm, and a little pistol, like a little Derringer pistol, like shoots out of my sleeve into my hand, and I point it at the most bubbly, frothy looking, vial that is bubbling away on that thing. And I say, because that's the only way you're going to protect your mistress's work. Like I'm going to just blow it up if she doesn't comply.
Hell yeah. So, Raven Doctor, you get an extra die. This
Okay.
is risky. I'd say risky standard. I think what I know of Paula, at least what I have in my head. Oh, sorry, Jim, did you? Okay, cool.
Whatever. And I've marked a pistol off on my gear.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, reminder, like you have folks have two free slots in their load. Yeah. So this is gonna be risky standard. You get an extra die. You want to push yourself or take a devil's bargain?
Do you have a devil's bargain? That's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, come on.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. Sorry.
Wow.
I don't know where that came from.
Wow. Yeah. Let me think.
Your devil's bargains are very interesting.
Yeah. I think what's gonna happen is you're gonna be put if you roll anything lower than a 6, you're gonna be put in a desperate position because she has a rape in one hand, and I think one of her hands is like close to like her pants pocket. I don't know.
I mean, doesn't the devil's bargain usually happen regardless before?
Yes.
Oh yeah, but like
Yes,
I'm giving you the
yes.
okay, all right, fine. Yeah, you're gonna be put in a desperate position if like
I'm fine with. But if I make the roll, I'm in a desperate position, but I make it, right? She surrenders.
yeah,
Maybe she stabs me a little. Okay, risky, and then I'm risky.
risky standard.
And standard?
Yeah.
Risky standard, okay.
And you got a bonus die from me.
So you have 2 bonus dice
Yeah.
overall.
I have bonus dice.
Ooh, that's a 4.
That's a 4. I'm not that good at commanding, I guess.
Yeah, but no, 4 is still a
well.
success. So
Yeah, I know.
I think I think what she says is like, you don't understand. I don't have a choice. My mistress, she commands. She commands absolute obedience, and she makes sure of it. She's determined. She's willing to do whatever it takes, whatever. And I think you hear like a vial like crack somewhere like in her person, like, even though you didn't see her touch anything, but like it cracks, and I think the dream starts to collapse all over you.
Oh, nice.
But that means a hell ton of ghosts starts to like just suddenly like scream and start out of nowhere, and they also kind of like, and the building's still fine, but it's like this sluice of ectoplasmic energy starting from where you are, starts kind of flooding around you. So both of you, because you involve yourself in this, Magpie, she's, and when that cracks, like she drops her rapier and immediately just like, I surrender, but she's getting swarmed up in this energy as well. Both of you are gonna take level 2 harm, which is soaked in terror.
I would like to resist that.
Absolutely. This will be resolved, and you have.
And I think I have another 1d to resistance rolls with resolve because I'm immune to the terror of some supernatural entities inflict on sight.
Yes, you
Would
have
that be
iron
appropriate?
will. Yes, absolutely.
Cool.
So you have 1 extra die. Magpie, are you taking that harm?
Would a Spirit Bane charm act as armor against this?
Let me see. There's too many ghosts, as I'll say. It's a flood of ghosts. You can ward off maybe 2, maybe 3, or like a gaggle of
Well, I mean,
spirit
like, would that reduce the harm by 1 level? So I just take 1 harm if I burn Spirit Bane
yes.
Charm.
Yeah, if you mark that off,
I'm gonna do that then. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
mark off my Spirit Bane Charm. That's
Why does
and
everybody have a spirit bane except me? Okay, I don't care.
You have a demon bane.
I have a demon bane, yeah, but we're not getting attacked by demons.
Not yet.
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't care. I'll just roll my dice.
and what is this, like, terrorized by ghosts or something
Yes.
like that?
Yeah. If you reduce terror, let's see, terrorized. How's that reduced? Haunted? No. Spooked.
Freaked.
Set by spirits. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. So level 1. Oh, you rolled a 6 there.
Yes.
Doc. So you get no stress. But
Yeah,
I think,
well,
yeah.
ghosts. So what?
Yeah, I think like, but Paula here is like overcome by the ghost. She's like, and she's crying. She's like, I'm sorry.
I'm just helping her to her feet and assisting her to come with us. Assisting her quite insistently, though.
Cool.
But I will tell her, do not worry. We will protect you.
Cool. Magpie, are you down with that?
Yeah, but the doctor. The doctor's gonna doctor. So
Yeah. Okay.
I have no say in that.
All right. I think we're nearly done with this. We just have to deal with the hulls. We deal with what Redcoat and Slider are doing. You are in this hull clock. You're 2 ticks away. I think you see the ghost field kind of collapsing, and bit by bit, you're in the area where it's not yet, but you can hear the sudden moaning as like all these ghosts that are like trapped in this dreamscape suddenly are pulled out of it quite violently. And I think the hulls that you're fighting kind of feel it as well. Like one of them is on its knees, and the other one is like, was smashing at you. And I think like you hear them doing their like the engine roaring, engine revving up, roaring. But I think you also hear them like in the sound you hear like maybe a bit of like no, I don't want to make this too harsh. They're not sobbing. They're trapped in this robot form. But yeah, Redcoat, Slider, they're kind of like on their knees. I think you hear them like crying out to like the other ghosts as if like they want to join them. I think that's what you hear.
Well, I think I would like to hit them some more.
You're happily obliged. Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So
So skirmish. Risky position.
Yes, risky. Risky. I think we're still gonna say you got the Quicksilver on you, so we'll say it's risky. Great. Slider, are you assisting? Or is anyone assisting?
I think it makes sense for Slider to assist.
Yeah, I imagine this is a bit of a, like the team, like when Hawkeye and Black Widow cross each other's paths in the Avengers. Like,
yeah, exactly.
The team up scene. Great. Oh, yeah. And bonus dice, that's 1 from Slider. And I would like to propose a devil's bargain that one of them gets a hit on me.
Ooh, you want to take a harm? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that'd be 2 whole bonus dice, I think.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, if you want to take harm, I won't stop him taking harm. That's a 4. So I think what it's going to be is you're going to fill that clock, but I think this harm is going to be actually, no, I'm not going to make you take more harm. Or should I?
Go hard, Leandro.
Yeah, all right. You're gonna take 2 level 2 harms, is what I'll say. So what that means is
2 level 2s.
Yeah. So what that means, like, if you ever take another level 2, it's gonna go up. Yeah, it's gonna go up to level 3. So 1, I think. Tell me what this looks like when you smash this hull up.
So I think the one of them like smashes, like manages to catch like a Redcoat, like just full in the chest, and he goes flying backwards, and it comes in as he crashes down and skids to a halt against the wall. It comes roaring up to him to like smash down on him, and then Sliders just like unleashes a barrage of gunshots, like staggering it back. and then Redcoat like dives between its legs, and it turns around and spins to smash, and it smashes the head of the other hull, like that's on the ground behind me. And then as it like sort of like staggers up to its feet, like Redcoat just comes slamming in like two hands on his club and just like smacks it in the knee, taking it out completely, and then just bashes it down to the ground, breaking it apart.
Yeah.
Now the harm is that's 2 level 2 harm. I have heavy armor. What can I do with heavy armor?
Ooh, let me double check. Heavy armor. Where is it? Where's my sheets? There it is. Heavy armor. Let's see. Armor would reduce it down to 1. Heavy armor reduce it down to 2. So you can actually like stop at least one of them. So I give you a choice. You can completely get rid of 1 level 2 harm, but you'll have some of the other one, or you can bring them both down, in which case you will have 2 level 1 harm.
From what I understand about the healing, it's better to have 2 level 1 harm, right, rather than 2 level 2
Yes,
harm. Quicker to get away. Then I will do
Yes.
that down to level 2 level 1 harm.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say like when the hull hit you, you take a level 1 harm bruised. And the other one is, I think, well, as you're defeating these hulls, as like the Magpie and the Raven Doctor are hauling ass and they're carrying a sobbing Paula with them, as like probably like Slider is like at the entrance, kind of like, come on, let's need to go. I think Redcoat, you hear again, you see like amidst all the collapsing dreamscape, and Soren's probably coming out there going like, yeah, we need to go. You see like the sisters, your female gargoyles, kind of still just standing there as if unperturbed. And again, they stand out from the sepia tone of the auction house. They're pale blue, and they're saying like, "Oh, the man in blood has teeth, doesn't he, sisters? He has fire. He has bruises, but he's still willing to go on. We should keep watch, sisters. We should keep watch." And you're gonna take the other level 1 harm, observed.
Okay.
Keep watch for our master, is what they say.
Cool.
So yeah, I think you've done it. You completed the score. Hell yeah! Everyone like gets out. I think you all leave because like Dr. Ravenglass, you know that the spirit wardens are going to be on their way. There's a massive profusion of ghosts, but you're all going to get away scot-free. So I'm going to say let's take another quick 5-minute break, and we're going to do downtime so I can tone up as well how much you got from that score. Yeah, be back in 5. All right, welcome back to Blades in the Dark, Vigilantes. So you've just completed a fairly major job. Lots of ghost action. Got through it pretty well. So, and I've calculated how much you get, but let's go through this. So payoff, as always, with Vigilantes, you usually get rep instead of coin. But you do earn 1 coin per tier of the target. You're against the Dimmer sisters, so you take 2 coin. So your overall stash is now 4 coin in the crew sheet. There you go. But if you notice, your rep track is off the charts because I think you interrupted a major score. So you get 8 rep. And you get an extra 2 on takedown score. So, geez, I'm gonna say I'm trying to remember if rep kind of like carries over, or I think it just goes away. You're muted, Will.
I can't imagine it going anywhere. Like, I guess we just lose out on that because we're already at the highest rep our tier can support, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, tier is basically a rep is basically just how much you have. When you fill that up, you can like upgrade your tier. Well, if you have the coin as well. Because I'm far too nice to all of you, I'm gonna put that you have extra 2 rep in the notes. Should I be too nice? Is that too nice? Am I being nice? Well, I'm just saying because like it takes a while to up your rep. Go on, Jim.
I mean, what's the rules? If the rules is we don't get it, then we don't get it. That's fine.
I should check. Yeah.
Like that's an incentive for us to climb the tiers, right?
Yeah.
Or to spend our rep on doing more stuff with it.
That too.
That is true. And that's turf. Double check actually, because I do want to know this. Because let's just say I've not. Most of the Forge of Dark stuff I've run doesn't really have rep, so this is why I'm a bit foggy on whether that carries over or not. I'm gonna say yeah, you probably lose out on it. That makes sense. Yeah. Let's say you lose on that +2 because you already filled it up, so that's fine. But yeah, in the future, if like you do if you want to do smaller, quick scores, you'll always have a +2 if they're taking down, other criminal organizations, because you do have good publicity. All right, so Heat. I will say though, that was quite loud and chaotic, especially once the ghost field, the ghost dreamscape started collapsing. So you earned 4 Heat.
We basically blew up. That's like blowing up a building. Is
Yeah.
kind of what we did there. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of lit it up like a spiritual Christmas crack. No, that's anyway. So that's 4. It's not wild devastating, but it's definitely high exposure. I'm gonna add a +1 Heat for well-connected target. I think the Dimmer sisters have their hands in the occult trade, and I'm gonna add another one because the situation happened on hostile turf. So your Heat is now up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 4, 6 Heat. That's not the best, but you'll get there. Well, you don't want to get there, I guess. And entanglements. I've already rolled that as well. We're on break. So how that works again is I'm gonna roll as many dice as your wanted level, which is 0 at the moment. So I roll 2 dice and Heat the lowest. But because you have 6 Heat, I'm looking at the third table, and the choices there are from 1 to 3, either the copycat or lost fate entanglement. 4 to 5 is either taking you down or dead you didn't save, which is 4 to 5, and the 6 is a simple arrest. But because you're still at wanted level 0, you got the lowest, and you got copycat. Some individual or faction bites off more than they can chew in your name. Take over the mess they've created or lose 3 rep and let them fry. I'm going to say the Lost, which is the faction you have a +2 with. They've seen you kind of like getting into scrapes and getting out fairly unscathed, for sure, and decided, all right, we can take on the crows. It'll be fine. We can take them on.
Does one of them totally has to get a red coat and try to pass themselves off?
They
And
start
be all
forming...
like, I'm Redcoat, and they're like, no, you're not.
Oh, is this like Dark Knight Returns style where they form their own mini gang, the Redcoats?
Oh, that would be kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, not to speak for. I think that would be awesome. I don't know what Will thinks about that, but
Yeah, sounds good.
You're getting a fan club.
yeah,
So I think
the red jackets. Yeah.
Oh my God. So I think, yeah, definitely Dave created a mess. I think right after you got out of Crow's Foot, I think they're drawing attention of the Crows. Then started there. That means that I think the Crows are starting to make incursions into Char Hollow because the red coats, the red jackets are drawing their attention. So do you want to step in, take over the mess you created? Which means this is probably going to color in your next job, which is going to be something to do with the Crows. So I have to think about that. Or you can lose 3 rep and let them deal with their own mess. But that doesn't seem like you folks, right?
I'm kind of tempted to let them, to be honest, because we've got rep to burn, and
yeah. True, but then you can't go up by tier at the moment anyway because you need.
No, they're in this mess because they're fallen because of you.
They're idiots.
Look at their leader.
Let's have this conversation in character because this sounds interesting.
Yeah, okay.
Let's come into this in your lair. Maybe it's been a day, 2 or 3 days. Where did you stash Paula? Is she there or did you put her somewhere else?
I think we put her there. With did Soren got out okay,
Yeah.
right? Cool.
Oh, yeah. So while you're having this talk, probably Soren's looking after her in
Yeah.
another room, so she doesn't hear.
Yeah,
you.
he can scare her. I mean, he can supervise her a bit.
Yeah, and there's probably like you have like a newspaper from the ink rakes, like there's a headline. Well, you got that headline about what happened in Crowsfoot, what you did, but there's now a headline 2 days later of like Redcoat's bloody crow's foot or bloody crow's nose or something like that.
He's a crow's beak.
Yeah, the crow's
Yeah.
beak. Yeah, and you get like they somehow managed to interview one of the Redcoats, and it is proper like that bit in Dark Knight Returns where they keep talking to the sons of Batman, and it's just like we follow the example of Batman. We will not talk anymore, and then an issue later they still talk to the press, but they get an interview Redcoat's doing what's right, taking it to the bad elements or whatnot. But I think there's a mention in the article of like, the crow's activity is starting to swell up in Char Hollow. So yeah, you can. I do want to like go around there what everyone's thinking.
Poking the crow's nest there.
Well, I think
idiots.
it's almost charming.
Yeah.
Well, they're in this mess because of us. Because the
And
crows.
we are in this mess because of our idealism, and so are they.
Look, if the crows come down this way, then we'll deal with them. But their problems are their problems.
Except that the people in the neighborhood will notice if we don't. These are boys from the neighborhood.
And they are inspired by our example.
And yes, they are idiots, but so are you.
I do
Walter's
not.
like slouching back on a chair, and he says, "Look, this isn't about managing reputation. This is about doing the right thing. These guys are doing the exact same thing we are, trying to help people in Duskwall. It's only proper and fair that we help them."
Fine. If you want to go clip a crow's wings, then I'm in.
Widow?
Yeah, I think said these little ones are obviously trying to do what's right, even if they're not maybe having quite the success of it that we are. It's
And surely one of them is some sort of third cousin to you or something like that.
Oh, almost certainly, darling. But no, I think the thing is as well. It's I look at this. It's a double-handed opportunity. We've got the opportunity to, take these, give these misguided kids a bit of guidance and put them on the right way and show them how to do things properly. And second, we get to put the boot into a few crows.
So to take them under our wings, so to speak.
I mean, I think we're kind of getting a bit up on all our various bird metaphors already. Begging your pardon, Doctor, but yeah, why not?
I quite like bird metaphors. The widow. She might surmise from my whatever you want to call it, pseudonym.
And
Plume.
Nom de plume.
Say it.
Yeah.
Nom de plume. Just say it. Just.
I was supposed not to make any more bird references, to spare the kind widow's feelings. Nom de plume, if you insist, my dear.
So it sounds like we're taking on this complication. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's going to be next session, which is not for another couple months. But that's definitely going to be your next score for sure. Okay, so that's it for entanglements. Now we go to downtime. So I'll remind folks, their list of downtime activities are at the bottom row 20. Let me make that bigger, actually. There you go. So have a look through them and see what your characters want to do.
So I've got an idea for Slider.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this is. Oh, sorry. What, Sabine?
No, I was just echoing what you were saying, and then I thought, no, let's even talk.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. I've got an idea for Slider. So I think to set the stage for that, I think there's this scene, and I don't know where everyone's living quarters are in the bell tower. But I think there's this scene where you see Slider like looking out the window, and it's storming and rainy and wet outside, and he looks over and he sees like one of these carved gargoyle women like looking out in eroded kind of weathered stone, and he flashes back to this beautiful ghostly woman like making eye contact with him. And I think that sets the stage. What he's going to try to do is acquire an asset, but what it's going to be is he's going to try to start up a romantic relationship with one of these ghosts that is outside of his. Basically, the gargoyle is like outside of his living quarters, so he's seen this face over and over and over, and he's already sort of become infatuated with it, and now he's met the real thing.
I would say that sounds more like a long-term project. Acquiring asset is for getting something you normally don't have to use for like a score. It's usually temporary. Like say, oh, I need a high-powered sniper rifle that can shoot ghosts. That's usually what acquire asset is. Or I need like a lookout for this thing. And
Okay, so he's gonna try to romance this ghost and find out more about her.
Okay, this sounds like a 6-step clock. But I think this is the first. This doesn't sound like something that can be done with just one project. First, you have to know about them. You gotta like learn about them.
Well, that's why he's got to like honey up to Soren and figure out what's going on.
Okay, so yeah, 6-step clock. And yeah, what are you rolling? What action roll are you rolling with this? You think?
So I think the first thing he's going to be rolling is sway, which he's quite good at.
Yeah, I think you're talking to Soren about this, and he's just like, Master Tambling, I'm not sure if I would advise forming a relationship with the otherworldly. After all, there are pros and cons, yes. At least different pros and cons compared to forming a relationship with the warm-blooded. But have you considered the risks here, Master Tambling? Is this?
I'll tell you, Soren. I've formed a lot of relationships with warm-blooded women, and I think all of them were cons. So I think I'll try something new.
Roll your sway, and because this is a downtime, it's no risk, so you don't have to. You can put whatever the position is, or you can just roll fortune and roll 2 dice because that's how much your sway is. The fortune button is underneath your deadly friends. Yeah. And roll 2 dice. Ooh, that's a 3. So I think let me actually pull up how many ticks that is, because it doesn't say that small sheet. Give me a second. Through this PDF. I should just look at the book. The book's right next to me. There we go. Downtime activities. So on a 3, you take 1 segment of your 6-step clock. I think Soren's just like, well, if you have experience on that sort, Master, then I suppose I will have to see firsthand if you can form a relationship that's built on trust. And I think what he's implying is that you're gonna have to find this ghost yourself, my friend. He'll point you kind of like the way, but to interact with them and like find out about them, you have to do it yourself. So you get 1 tick out of 6, and I'm gonna add that to your sheet. Romancing a ghost, 6. You get 1 tick. Does that sound fair to you?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So we'll cut away from Slider for the moment. See what else does everyone do for their downtime?
I've got an idea.
Mhm.
And while Silas would love to continue his studies of all the stuff that the Magpie brought back from the laboratory. These rumors about these dread jacket people have him worried a bit, and I think he will go and follow his obligation with his sketchy family and his younger sister with a myriad of kids, and see if one of them is involved in the whole thing, and also to, go there and let down his academic hair or whatever.
Okay. So tell me, like, what does that look like when you like interact with with her kids? Is it just like a lot of people like going, Doc, Uncle Silas, tell us about ghosts, is it true that like there's these many-headed sailor ghosts that prowls the docks? They all come from the one ship, and they all kind of like, when they all died together, they all made a pact in in heaven, being like, oh, when we come back, we'll have multiple heads, because we all become this one ghost. Is that true, Uncle Silas?
That, my dear kids, that is very true. I have to tell you, this is the truest thing you've ever heard. And if you aren't careful and listen to your mommy, this multi-headed ghost that will come and get you if you're not careful. Hear me? Just listen to your mama.
Oh yeah, just answer Jim's question in the chat. We do XP after the session, after the score. So use downtime for like a chance to trigger more stuff. So these kids kind of like and they're like, oh, they're quite they're quite taken in by the multi-headed ghost.
Yeah, I think they don't know that I am actually the Raven Doctor or anything. They just know that I'm their uncle and that I work as a spirit warden. I think they know that.
Yeah.
But nothing much more. I try to keep my two parts of lives very, very, very separate, because these are lovely people, but very exhausting. And I will find out if one of my Bowden family quack peoples is involved with these red jackets.
Yeah. Why don't you indulge Vice, and then we'll use the result to color what you get. You have a chance of overindulging because you have a 3.
Yes,
3
I know.
stress.
Yeah, I thought I might just see how that works. I've never overindulged in anything. I mean,
you did. One of you did in Beam Saber. I remember that.
That wasn't me. I think it wasn't me.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Okay.
Cool. How do I go about indulging stuff? I don't know.
There is a button in your character sheet right above trauma, underneath like Vice. Button there says indulge Vice.
So yeah. I just click that. Bonus dice. None. Submit.
No.
I've got a 2.
Oh wow! So you don't overindulge. You clear 2 stress. So yeah, I think just to give you like that info, we'll consider this. Yeah, we'll consider that to kind of like 5 or 6 and gather information. So yeah, I think your younger sis Tiff is kind of like that candle, that giant gout of ghosts. Don't be your doing. I think she's saying this as she's like forced you to wash dishes in the kitchen.
I don't mind for washing dishes. It's very cleanly. And I say, look, Tiff, what you don't know. I mean, no one can use against you.
Well, that's fair. It's just with the way things are heating up around here, it's got quite a lot of the neighborhood in the tizzy. People are thinking, just because there's a group of heroes about, suddenly anyone can be a hero. And it's a nice sentiment, I know, but truth is, anyone can try to be a hero, Not everyone succeeds.
Anyone we know involved with that?
Let me go through this name generator. It's, you remember, you're my eldest.
Of course I remember your eldest.
What's her
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah. he you remember he's taken to like he took quite a bit from you, like the others, like Elias and Phineas and whatnot. They love your stories, but Jeremiah, he's the one who really believed in what you can do. And well, he was, and you got him the chance to like try out for the Spirit Wardens and whatnot, but whenever he's around for dinner, I think he's gonna try to do something foolish. And like, I know you're busy, and I know you got your hands full, but
That of his family. I can go and have a talk with him.
just be sure if he does anything, he knows his boundaries. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is dangerous. Look at that house that blew up. That was ghosts. That maybe he isn't aware of what they can do.
Just make him aware.
Yeah. I'll put the fear of ghosts into him or something like that, at least.
I think like she smiles and she says like, you'll stay for dinner, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're making stew, aren't you?
Yeah, we have some leftover cake. It was just a birthday party that came by, so you're up for cake.
I am up for a cake.
I mean, it's
That,
eel cake, but
that's fine. Eel cake is great.
cool. And then we'll cut away from that. Y'all have a
Yep.
lovely dinner. Yeah. So, who else has a downtime activity they want to do? Ooh, there goes Will. Oh, sorry. Who's?
Okay, I can go.
So you were pointing at the rec. You were pointing at.
Well,
were you pointing at?
me and Jim both put our hands up at the same time, so I was pointing down to Jim. But
Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
no worries. I will do recovery. So we don't have a healer.
But
So how does that work?
You do have when you pick that ability, you can get one of your contacts to help you recover. Basically, one of your contacts or cohorts may take a downtime action, in which case they'll use them up, and they'll help you like recover. Because otherwise, yeah, you will need to like acquire an asset to like
Get
in
healing.
touch with. Yes.
Okay. Then I will use that if that's okay, guys, because that seems to be the only way to get any healing done.
Yeah. Like
and I will use that. Let's say that's Marlene, maybe my boxer friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, how do you say that? Like you're being observed? Well, she can see the bruises. I think definitely.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I can tell, the way the healing works is that I could clear one of these rather than both of these, right?
No, you reduce each instance of harm on your sheet by 1 level, then clear the clock. Basically, if you fill your recovery clock, you'll clear both of them. Basically, the reason why it's a pyramid tier is like whenever you say, "Oh, you take level 1 harm," if you can't take, it goes up.
Okay,
like level 2.
So 2 level 1 harms aren't effectively 8 clocks altogether.
No.
Okay, yeah. Cool. I've misunderstood that then. Cool.
It's not as harsh as it could be.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's going to take a hell of a long time to get started.
It is harsh, but like, it could be worse.
Cool. So what would I be rolling for the healing roll?
You'll be rolling, let's see, the quality level of an NPC. I'm going to say Marlene is like connected to you, and it's kind of connected to your crew. So, but let me double check. She is the pugilist, right? So she would know. I would let's say she has a quality level of like 1. She's a brawler, pit fighter, a bit older than you. Taught him what you know. So like, yeah, she'll always have like 1 quality above your tier. I'd say.
Cool.
So tier 0, she'll see 1. So you roll 1.
Am I able to spend rep to improve that?
Ooh, yes, because you have that.
I think you spend it after the roll, right?
After the roll.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I can't spend rep to make her into a higher quality contact for this.
Yes. Well, yeah. When you spend like rep with /squad, you improve the effect. Of the roll.
Then yeah, sure. I will just roll the 1, and then I will improve the thing probably. I'll roll fortune, right? Number of
Yes.
dice, 1. A 6.
Oh my god, that's a
Boom.
6.
Nice.
Well, a 6 is 3 segments of your healing clock, and you can spend the 1 rep to bump it up to a crit, which is we'll fill it up.
Yeah, I'll do that then. Cool.
Yeah.
So, does that get rid of both bruised and observed then?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, how does she do that? Like, how does she help you like recover from your bruising and being observed by creepy sister ghosts? One of whom who are being romanced by Slider, although you don't know that.
I think she like bandages up his ribs and stuff like that, and I think he's like hearing whispers and seeing figures at the edge of his vision and stuff. And Marlene and invites him to spar, but like to box, basically, like holds the bag, and as he exercises through that, like that sort of cloud that was hanging over him, the whispers just sort of fades away into the silence of the the sound of his fists hitting the bag, kind of thing.
Yeah, Marlene probably asks you like a question about those kids in red coats running about. She'll probably ask something like, "How?" She knows that's not your doing. Like she knows you well enough to like you wouldn't sanction that readily. Like that wouldn't be by your volition. But like,
yeah, well, right idea, maybe wrong way of going about it.
I'm imagining now that scene at the Dark Knight where the guys are like, "What makes you so different?" And Batman's like, "I'm not wearing hockey pads."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's one of my actions.
Yeah. So yeah, you're all cleared up. So we'll go to Jim and then we'll go to David. So Jim, you had an idea for what you want to do?
Yeah. So we each get 2, right? Is that
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. It looks like we're doing 1 each, and then we go back around. Cool.
Yes.
I'm gonna start by indulging a vice.
Ooh. What are you indulging?
My obligation to the Hightower refugees.
Nice. What does that look like? Just so we can see. Paint the picture.
That looks like. That looks like I put on my nicest like demure yet like like I'm in like my full maidenhead, right? Do my hair up and makeup and all this kind of stuff and everything, and then go around and call on my girlfriend's fathers to hit them up for money to donate to the refugees.
Nice. I think like there's probably some really catty people who are like, "Oh, you're doing this. Oh, we'll help you. Get one up on the Weeping Lady." They didn't know that you helped them out. Weeping Lady, like, "Oh no, yeah, the name of Hightower." And you can tell that like some of them are like, some of your girlfriends are definitely riding on your coattails, but there are some who are like, who know you and like, who are like.
Well, I mean, there are probably roughly equally as many that are like along for the ride to see what like someone else's house looks like that they've never been in, and a like roughly equal number that are annoyed that I'm flirting with their fathers.
That's great.
So
that's lovely.
Which I'm not, but they seem to think that that's what's happening. So
of course,
just making an appeal from the heart.
Yeah, and let's see how well it'll work. But like, let's see how much stress you.
Yeah, let me indulge my vice here.
Oh yeah.
Click the button. You don't get any, but you don't ever get bonus dice for this, right? It's just it just happens, right?
Yeah, it depends on like if there might be some.
Oh, there might be other stuff you can do, but anyways, I'm just gonna hit that. Oh, there's a 6.
Ooh, clear 6. Hell yeah.
Which is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 stress, so that's good.
Jesus, yeah. So like
knocks it down to just 1.
Yeah, I think you've got like a number of fathers contributed greatly to your cause, for sure.
Yeah, and I just like this relieves stress because basically, like like this is almost like doing two of my vices at once. So like I fulfill my obligation and I'm like going around to all these nice houses and being, like being served like excellent tea and sitting in like big comfy divans and stuff while we're chatting and everything. So yeah, this is awesome. Like I'm like just full debutante mode here, I think.
Yeah. I'm guessing like you don't go up to Rosalind because her father's in jail.
Her father's in jail, so yeah. So unfortunately, no. I maybe her uncle.
Yeah.
So no, I do think, like, if you'll indulge me, that I would show up at the door, like have the butler announce me, walk in, then go, "Oh dear, what a terrible faux pas! I forgot your father's in prison." And then, and then leave. So
I think like throughout that time, I'm imagining Rosalind is holding like a fan and she's twisting it in her hands and she's giving you this horrible death grip.
like flapping it furiously. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. All right.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's cool. There we go. I got that is a significant amount of stress reduction. Excellent.
Hell yeah. That's probably why you got that so much stress relief. You got to rub it in Rosalind's face just a bit more. Yeah. Just twist the knife. All right, we'll come to you, Daphnia, with Widow Penderyn. What are you doing for your downtime? What's your first action?
Yeah, sure thing. So I think for my first action, I think that what what Charlo needs is a good neighborhood watch scheme. People looking out for each other, reporting any suspicious activity, that sort of thing.
Yeah. I'm gonna say as a project, this is. Let's see. Let me look at the Charhouse disposition to you. Okay. If it was any lower than a 2, it would have been probably 8 steps. But I'm gonna say this will be a 6 step, and it looks like you're going for that lookouts claim. I'm gonna say.
Oh,
yes.
I hadn't been particularly looking at claims, but yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
If only there were a bunch of young ruffians who we could recruit to do something like this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think, and in fact, I think what this is, this probably is the local bluecoat sergeant has popped in whilst on his rounds for a cup of tea, Daphne is like, well, I mean, it's a shame about all this, what's going on with all these ruffians from out of the district coming in here, and I can't, what these young lads are out doing, all getting dressed up in strange clothing and fighting them. I can't be condoning that sort of thing, but we do need to be doing something. And yeah.
Yeah, and I think this blue coat sergeant, we'll not give him a name, because this is probably like the first step in your plan. So I'll say how this works, because claims usually you need to like finish a score to grab them. So I'm gonna say you have this 6-step clock, and we're gonna like append it on the score you're gonna do when we like come back. So say once you've done that score, you have to finish this project first before you get lookouts. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll say like how. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's gonna be 6 steps. Add that to your sheet. And what are you rolling to like start this up?
Again, at this point, this is probably more of a sway, I think, because I'm trying to kind of, in fact, specifically what I'm trying to do here is obviously, I wouldn't suggest starting up a neighborhood watch scheme all on my own. That's not what the Widow Penderyn is about. But if he happens to come up with that idea of his own accord after sitting down with me for tea, then that's.
All right. So roll your roll your 1 sway. The 1 dice. That's a fortune roll. Jesus, that's another 6. One dice. Come on, you have a 1 in 6 chances. Okay, all right. Well, I'm not complaining. This is downtime, so it should be doing well. So you're gonna put 3 ticks. You're halfway through your long-term project. I think, like, yeah, this blue coat sergeant whose name is Thaddeus. So that's his name. Or people behind his back, they call him Thad. You're like, oh. Well, you got that right, Madam, Mrs. Penderyn. There's a lot of energy them young kids are expelling these days. They do need some sort of direction. Some direction would be good. And he's thumping his fist in his hand as if like, yeah, he's forming this plan, and he's gonna think, yeah, that's all. he started with that. All right, so I'll just straight up. It will be okay if we go over a bit because we'll have to do XP and like some more quick downtime activities. Cool. And technically, Redcoat, you still have 2 because you used up the one from your.
Yeah. So I would like to do my side job and gain as an extra coin, so we're closer to our raising out here.
Hell yeah.
And then I would like to train prowess, which I think I do with the when I'm boxing with Marlene. The scene I've already done, which is enough to level up my skirmish to a 3 now.
Hell yeah.
So I play that.
Jesus, you're gonna be like a powerhouse.
And I think everyone else should take their turns, but I'm also going to spend a rep for an extra downtime action when we once everyone else is done, because I've just taken all of my normal ones.
Ooh. You'll get that rep back. You got a +2 for taking down scores. It'll be fine. You're swimming in rep. So all right. So let's turn back to Slider. Then you have your second downtime action. What do you want to do?
Yeah, so I think Slider is going to fulfill his obligation to reduce some stress. So he's going to pay a visit to Sergeant Griggs, his friend in the blue coats, his former sergeant in the 42nd Arbalestier Light, and just to make things a little bit quicker and summarize, I think. So I think he goes over as they normally do. They have a meal together with Sergeant Griggs, Slider, and Sergeant Griggs' wife. Sergeant Griggs' wife, if you remember from a couple of sessions ago, was already suspicious that Slider had a female interest that he was like going off to see. So this time Slider does let it slip that he's interested in someone, but he refuses to kind of share any details. He also mentions to Griggs that Casta has gone a little bit off the rails because Casta was also in Sergeant Griggs's platoon. So that was from last week when he went on a bounty hunting mission with Casta, and she was a little bit too rough. So they have a lengthy kind of discussion, I think, about what to do with her and where everyone they served with has kind of gotten off to, and where those connections are, and then they drink spirits long into the night, as is their wont.
Nice. All right. Roll Indulge Vice. Buttons there. Yeah. Go ahead. All right. So you clear 4 stress. I think like I'll add a little wrinkle there. I'll add a little thing. I think like Sergeant Griggs. We'll say like, well, after you mentioned like, yeah, Casta Midnight. Say like, watch out for your friend there. And hearing rumbles of some big time recruiting happening amongst the underworld. Someone's making a play and they're wanting the best. Your friend there, your bounty hunter friend, they might just end up in this Nightingale's radar.
Okay, so he's worried that she's going to be recruited.
Mm-hmm. All right. Oh, David had to BRB. Cool. Is that okay with you, Stephen?
Yep, that's good.
All right, cool. So I'll go to Dr. Ravenglass. What's your second downtime
Yes.
activity?
Yes, I do still have my ongoing studies. I have a clock that says study the special snuff, because there's still some secrets in there that I have not fully understood. But now I have Paula, and she will explain to me what this is.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
say
hope.
Paula being there, and we'll probably have a chat next time we meet together. What you're gonna do with her?
Yeah.
But while she's there, I think you putting her in your like secure lair, and she can see like it's quite secure and hidden and hard to get to.
Yeah.
Will kind of like calm her down a bit, and yeah, I think it'll give you an extra die. I'll give you that, just for fun.
Okay, that's cool. I'll roll the tune, right?
Yes. And remind me,
Okay.
what did we find out about the snuff last time?
We found out that it was made from this Eruvian weed, and that it kind of drew ghosts into its presence, that it had that. And that if you smoked it, it acted a bit like Quicksilver. You could kind of perceive something of a ghostly world, but in a kind of pleasant way, or mostly pleasant way, depending on how you used it. And I will go there, and I will roll now with a tune.
Yes.
+1.
Yeah. Yep.
Do I have to input risky or something like that?
No, this is downtime. So
so it's
the hardwood downtime is like there's no risk to this, like unless you overindulge and you have to roll an entanglement. But other than that,
no, I have not overindulged. I will submit my dice now.
It's a 6.
Wow.
So you
okay.
you're gonna fill that clock even if you rolled a 1.
Yeah, it was just one slice left. So
okay.
Wow.
So you figured out, the demon weed that kind of like is the one half of this snuff. What's the other half, you think?
I think what is the other half is some sort of distillation from memories.
Ooh, memories.
Yes.
Yeah.
Memories of ghosts, apparently. And that's why the ghosts are attracted to it, because I think all ghosts are lacking some sort of memory. And maybe they hope to regain them if they follow that smell, to find their own memory in there. But they won't, because it's just a distilled memory. It's not a memory per se. It's just something that, some kind of, when you remember some sort of scene, when you have this feeling of a memory, that's what is distilled in there.
It's distilled nostalgia.
Yes, it's distilled nostalgia.
Yeah, and I think like Paula probably makes some comment like, what is a person if not a collection of memories or something like that. And
Yes.
she kind of mutters to herself like, I told my sister we shouldn't mess with this. I told her there are other ways. There are other ways to get what she wants, but no, she had to deal with. She had to communicate
Leandro?
those.
I can't understand what you're muttering because your hand is in front of your mic. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, and I'm touching. Yeah, she's saying like she told her mistress that there were other ways they could have gotten what she wanted. That they didn't need to commune with ghosts to do this, to defile
And we absolutely
ghosts.
should all of us talk to her about who her mistress is, anyways.
Yeah, we'll save that for. I have a parting shot.
Okay.
For that.
Cool. Okay. Very nice. And I think, this is not a downtime action, right? If we just, convince her to try some of the steel and weed stuff, because we've got some now and might as well,
Yeah, we'll do that when we're out of downtime next time.
Cool. Okay.
Because we're a bit pressed for time.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
I get
it. I'll turn to Victoria Hightower. You have one more downtime action?
Yeah, so I want to recover from my beset by spirits.
Yeah, so
harm condition.
Let me double check the recover. Recover, you seek treatment and heal your harm. So you need if you don't have a contact or fellow PC, you can provide treatment. You have to use the acquire asset activity to gain access to a healer. Do you? I'm gonna say maybe the Weeping Lady's.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if she could help with this. Yeah, if the abbess could could help me with this. So I'm beset by
yes.
spirits.
Maybe like she'll give you access to her facilities because it would draw suspicion if you use your mother's facilities. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah, I'm not just going to waltz into my mom and be like, yeah, there's this ghost harassing me.
Yeah, so
And I'd have to say, then I'd have to make up then I'd have to make up a huge convoluted lie about how it happened. And I'd have to get my girlfriends in on it.
yeah.
And it's much easier to just go behind her back than it is to lie to her face. So
yeah, and the abyss is a contact, so like she's
Yeah.
unless an entanglement happens to piss her off, she's not gonna like rat you out. You might even do it dressed as the magpie or something.
Oh yeah, I'm going to her as the magpie. Yeah. No, she doesn't know I'm Victoria Hightower.
All right, so let's roll recover. I think her quality. Let's see. Let me look at the Weeping Ladies faction, because it's a bit different from like what's Redcoat's from Marlene because that's a specific NPC. This one is actually attached to a faction, so we're gonna roll their tier as their quality, and she has a tier of 2.
Cool. So that's fortune plus 1 plus an extra die.
I think fortune you just roll 2 dice.
Oh, fortune is 2 dice automatically. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Notes. Boom. 6 and 5.
6. Oh, all right. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know why it says 0 dice, but yeah, that's a 6. Oh, yeah, that's 6. So you're gonna put 3 ticks into your recover.
Nice. I only needed the 1, so I will remove that. And I'll spend one of our rep to get a bonus downtime action too.
Yeah.
Because I forgot. I'm realizing you can do that. I will knock the rep off there. Boom. Having done so there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Wait, can I do that too? I mean, I'm sorry. I know we're pressed for time or anything, but if everybody's doing it, I want to do it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems
Well, I think
so
it's
many
entirely
ideas.
reasonable to me.
Yeah, I think like the 3 of you, like you, Jim, and Will, all want to spend rep. So we're gonna deduct 3 rep from.
I just knocked one off for the one I did,
Okay.
and it started full, right?
No, it started. We knocked one off
I
because
spent one.
you spent
I
one
spent
to
one
up.
already.
Will spend one to up his recovery. So it started with 1 off, and you're not gonna. So we're fine right now. We're correct right now. You knocked off another one right now, right, Jim?
Yes, yeah.
So-
And then. Oh no, Will didn't spend one. Yeah, Will also spent one for a bonus action, right?
Yes. This is gonna
So
be.
we should be down by 3.
Yes.
So there's.
Oh, we're down by 4 because Sabine, Jim, and Will spend. You're gonna spend.
Okay,
3
Sabine hasn't spent it yet. So
Okay, all right, we'll get there.
Like,
We'll get there.
let's not
Yes,
get ahead of ourselves.
Let me take off my own rep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
What's your extraction?
I just want to make sure that it gets done right. I want to acquire an asset,
Ooh. What's the asset?
which is I would like to make a very stylish, slim cut right into so that goes into my wasp waist with some snazzy looking tails, a red jacket for myself, so that when we are dealing with them, I will. My goal is to basically give myself some kind of advantage when we are dealing with them, some kind of potency to command them or whatever, something like that. I mean, whatever that resource would do for me.
Yeah. Let's see. To acquire the asset, you're gonna roll the cruise tier. I'm gonna assign the minimum quality of the asset you get. I'm gonna say probably your tier is fine because it's a stylish jacket. It's a stylish red jacket. So so you're gonna roll your tier is at 0. So you're gonna roll 2 dice and take the lowest.
Sure. So this is just another regular fortune roll, right?
Yes. Roll 2 dice and. Oh, whoa,
that's
well.
terrible.
Yeah, so you're gonna get a tier -1. So you're already at tier 0. So I'm gonna say is that you're gonna get the jacket. That's fine. But the potency it's gonna have is limited. You're gonna have a limited number of times that potency is gonna stick, I'll say. So say
So if I spend one of our coin to get it properly tailored,
yes, you can up your
that bumps it up. I'm gonna do that then.
okay. Okay. Yeah, it says tier -1, but you can't -1 at 0. So technically, if you bump it up, you'll go up to tier 1.
Tier 1. I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can spend one of your coin or the crew's coin. That's fine.
Oh, I have my own coin?
Yeah. Did you? But I guess you don't have any right now, do you?
No, we only get that doing side jobs, right?
Yes. Or when
no.
the crew's paid off. So okay. Spend on one coin. So yeah, you're gonna get this jacket. Yeah, it's gonna give you potency when dealing with the red jackets, with the red coats.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. So let's turn to David first before we jump to Sabine, to Will, and then Sabine's extra downtime action. You have one more downtime action, Window Penderyn. What do you want to do?
Yeah, no, quite simply, I'm going to indulge a vice. Which one do I want to? I think I'm going to go for my obligation again. So some sort of entanglement with the girls.
Nice. Is there like specific activities you do with the girls when you hang out with them?
I think that the what we see today or this evening is Magda is one of the girls who lives in the house. She is she has many gentlemen callers, but I don't judge. And one of them has been taking liberties and requires escorting off the premises.
All right, let's indulge vice. See how that's the non-stressful part of your job is doing your actual job. Amazing. Ooh, that's that's 3. So yeah, reduce 3 stress. I think I think it's weird. Like you're always kind of there. So like I think the girls kind of like will notice a bit when you're properly paying attention to them, when you're indulging your vice. So I think they're always kind of grateful when you're there. Cool. Sound good?
Yeah, and yes, and I think I manhandle him out of the premises and sent him on his way without any further issue.
Hell yeah. All right, let's turn to our other extra downtime stuff. Will, you said you want to spend a rep to do something extra.
Yeah, I would like to reduce heat.
Yes.
And I was thinking the way I would reduce heat. This is okay. Is I think that Solomon, on his Blue Coat Patrol.
Will, your audio is a bit.
Sorry, Solomon on his Blue Coat Patrol will meet. We'll come across some crows threatening some of the citizens of Char Hollow. And he's going to step in, officially and roll skirmish, I think, to, basically like show the official blue coat, like keeping the crime down. Like it's not all vigilantes, the blue coats are enforcing the law as well, kind of thing.
Okay. Roll 3 dice for your fortune roll. Skirmish, 3 dice. That's ridiculous.
Do I have to do position and effect?
No, because again,
this, or...
downtime is meant to be like away from risks or whatnot. And this is a perfectly legit way to reduce heat. So what you get?
Got a 5.
So you're going to reduce by 2 ticks the heat. I think it's because these are crows. I think they will run away they will be coerced into moving away. But I think they say
one of them will throw a punch and Redcoat will just completely shut him down, and like you don't want this fight kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think like when they run away, they do the proper like mook stuff, like we'll come back with numbers. You see, the crows will come to roost to Char Hollow soon. I don't know what accent I was doing there.
And I think I think as I turn back to like the citizen, like they sort of like hold out like their coins, like they're like, here, like I know they're going rate, come, take it. Like thank you, officer, thank you. And I think Redcoat's like just spits on the ground and he's like, keep it, walks off.
To answer Stephen's question in the chat, no, I don't know if crows roost. All right, one last downtime is to Dr. Ravenglass. What is the?
Yeah, I was wondering, can I do a can I start a new project?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Because I want to gain Paula's not trust. Yeah, I guess something like that.
Yeah.
Confidence. Confidence.
Confidence. Yes, that's a good word. Confidence. To gain Paula's confidence.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a 6-step clock.
Yes.
I think she's kind of like she's chased enough by staying here, seeing what y'all are, but she's still like in fear of her mistress, so to speak. So, what are you rolling? What action are you rolling? What's your like first like attempt? What does it look like?
Well, my first attempt would actually to try and get her to smoke some of that demon weed and explain to her then what we're seeing actually when we're doing this, because I know I'm not the most social person, so I'll play to my strengths and try to wow her with the fact that I know so much about ghosts and about this whole ghost field stuff. And also I mean, I get to smoke the stuff again, which is for purely academical reasons.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, of course.
What's the action you're rolling with?
I think it would be a tune, if that's okay with you.
Okay, sure. Let's see how you roll. 2 dice.
I'm rolling. No, it's not risky. Go away. No, I don't have bonus dice. Yeah.
Just
Okay.
6.
Yes.
It's
just a 6. It's not a critical success.
No, so you take 3 segments, and I think how this actually it's 6. Oh, you're muted, Jim, if you're saying something or you're just miming to the camera. Okay, all right.
Spend a rep, pump it.
Yes, I was going to. I'm not forgetting that.
That's 5 ticks. So you're still 1 tick away from completing the project. But I think
no, I'm just spending the rep for the extra action. I'm not spending a rep for the critical success.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure. I can do that next time to bump it up if I roll that worse.
Oh, so. Yeah, because you're not going to fill the clock this time anyways. So
exactly.
You'd have to take another action regardless. Yeah. And like we roll a 6 every time, so like
you do.
Yeah,
you
even
do.
If I don't, I can spend a rep next time and then bump it up to 3.
Yeah. So. You're halfway through. I think what she actually says, like when she shows you like the demon weed you're about to smoke, she says, "Not like that," and she shows you a way to filter it so that
Oh, cool.
You still get like a nice sort of hit, but yeah, she's coming out of her shell, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
All right, so now that everything's done, we have to say goodbye to Stephen. He's calling. I'll message him to do XP, but like I'll give my shout out to Stephen. Thanks very much for jumping in and romancing a ghost. Come on. That's ridiculous. All right, let's scream through XP. That's the last thing we really need to do. And I always want to do that before we have to go, and like we forget everything we've done. All right, so I'm going to start from the top to Solomon Reigns. Did you address a challenge with violence or coercion?
Yes.
I think you did both.
Yes, I did for sure. So that's 2, is it?
Yes.
Cool.
Technically, if you did violence twice, you could also get the 2 XP.
Cool. I think I expressed my beliefs as well, like all my drives, like keeping the citizens safe and upholding like some sort of protection to the people. Yeah.
So take that 1 XP.
I don't think I struggled with any issues from vice or traumas.
No. What did we learn about Redcoat this session?
I think we learned that at some point something went horribly, horribly sideways for Solomon Reigns. Saw a lot of other Bluecoats dead in a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Maybe that's his part of his origin story. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that's a big enough revelation to get the XP for that. That's a big thing. And no, I'm not making it up for you. No, just take all the XP. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. I won't turn you down this time.
Sabine, let's turn to Dr. Ravenglass. Did you address a challenge with knowledge or arcane power?
Yes, constantly.
Yes, take the XP. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
I think I did. I mean, I'm an academic, which I usually express, and you could also see some part of my background.
Yeah. We went to your family. We saw them. You saw we saw Uncle Silas.
Talking about the did I struggle with issues from my vice or traumas? I mean, issues from my vice. I don't know if that's an issue because my nephew might be in trouble here. I don't know.
Ooh, yeah, it's not a struggle yet. I'll give you that XP.
Okay.
We see what happened to your nephew next time.
Okay.
What did we learn about Dr. Ravenglass?
Yeah, you learn about his family, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think you also learned that he likes to intimidate people.
Yeah, intimidate them and then make friends with them. That's ridiculous.
Well, he's not very good at smoozing up to people.
That's fair. Take 2 XP. Let's go to Jim. Victoria Hightower. Did you address a challenge with stealth or evasion?
Gosh, I sure did. I think on a couple of occasions.
Yeah.
I slipped down into the crate there and stuff like that, and ducked out of the way and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
Yeah, I absolutely did. I mean, as far as my drives, I left the theater there with a breathing ghost head tucked in a bag that I haven't told anyone about yet.
Oh, I was going to ask, does everyone know about your whispering ghost head?
No, that's my magpie, my shiny thing that I took away from that place.
Nice.
And absolutely, like, my background, my like debutante background was the whole thing of that obligation, fulfilling my obligation there. So
does the magpie have like a magpie's nest in some sort of like hard to reach, impossible to get there unless you're the magpie place of the family wings, like hidden in a sub-attic somewhere, or like on the rooftop in a hidden tile just filled with the stuff?
I'm not going to tell you. Possibly. Certainly in our clock tower, I do. I have a place that, like would be really dumb for anybody else to try to climb up to. So, yeah. And the last thing was struggled with issues from vice or traumas. Not really, no.
No one's taken a trauma yet.
Yeah.
What did we learn?
I mean,
about...
and I got along great with my vices this time. So
yeah. What did we learn about Victoria Hightower in this session?
Oh, I think one of the things we learned is that she actually
I think this stealing of the head and hiding it away is something that we've learned. Like the fact that you take these trophies from our because we know that you steal stuff, but like you specifically steal like shit from our adventures. Like
yes, from the scores. Yeah, I take a little something, and if I, and certainly this, like Will asked the question, does the magpie have a little perch? And if this is where we learn that absolutely, I've got a little thing like up in the like very tippy top attic of the clock tower, that I climb up to by like leaping across a 15-foot gap that drops 80 feet, and then scrambling up some broken staircases and stuff, and slipping around to the outside and clambering up a drain pipe to, and then back inside to get to it. That, I've got a little hidey hole.
Also, I
Absolutely, in
think
the
what we
tower.
learned is how vicious she can be with the Rosalind thing. That was just, wow. That was hurtful.
So petty.
Yeah, so petty. Yeah.
Well,
I think we learned that.
And
was
what's,
something we learned.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that I would have just blown that stuff up. Yeah, I would have been happy to, and like that. I knew how to, like, I would have blown it up, like, to see the look on her face, right?
Oh, poor Paula.
So,
yeah. So take 2 XP.
that's legit. Okay, cool.
Hell yeah. So, last but not least, and I'll ask Stephen about how his XP goes, because I'm sure he racked up a ton of XP as well. But the Window Penderyn, I should bring up your character sheet. Did you address a challenge with calculation or conspiracy?
Yeah, I think I was. I think I've been fairly calculating.
Yeah, and I'll leave it up to you if you did it multiple times.
I think probably just the once feels about right.
We had the previous session as well.
Well, we
did that last time. Yeah.
Or did we do that last time?
Yeah,
Okay.
we counted XP last time, so that probably counts for there. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
Yes, I think we saw a couple of times actually. We because the Widow Penderyn's background is in labouring classes, so I think we sort of had that interaction with the dock worker, and seeing her with her girls again. So yeah, I think so.
Hell yeah! So yeah, take 2 XP for that. Did you struggle with issues from advice or traumas?
Issues, and no, I wouldn't say so.
What did we learn about the Widow Penderyn?
We learnt that her first husband was a sailor on a whaling ship.
Nice.
Probably, anyway. And or rather, I'd say that's probably actually true, rather than just something she said.
We also learned that she had more than one husband.
That is true. Take 2 XP for that. All right. We're going to do crew XP, and then I'm going to leave you with a parting shot to tide you over for the next 2 months. So let's do crew XP. Okay. Did you interfere with criminal scores, protect citizens, or antagonize the law?
Hell yes.
Yeah, I think you kind of did both. Protect citizens and interfere with criminal scores. So let's give you 2 XP for that. Did you contend with challenges above your current station?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you did. Yeah, they were sisters. Like, I mean, yeah, they sent some crap holes for the good thing, but like, they're still holes. And yeah, Ghostfield. Did you bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one? Your reputation is ostentatious.
I think we bolstered it. No, we kind of destroyed that place.
That was a pretty ostentatious display.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you imagine us walking out of there with the building blowing up at our backs in slow motion with that long black coat whirling and that plague doctor's mask, come on.
And ghosts like,
yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's
citizens cowering in the streets outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll mark XP for that. Did you express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew? Yeah, I think honestly that's kind of given how good you all are. You always get 2 XP for that. So I'll give you that. So you're 3 XP away from getting crew advancement. Yeah. See, all right. So I think we'll have. I'm trying to think because technically we're on for a quarterly, so we have like at least 2 more months. So I'm wondering if I should reveal some. No, you know what? I'm going to reveal some stuff now. Only the players will know this, or the audience. I think we get a shot of the magpie bringing up the head, the porcelain hull whispering ghost head, to her cubbyhole or to her hiding place. And when she pulls it out, it whispers, "Oh, Miss Hightower, is that you? Miss Hightower, is that you? It's me. It's Isa. I used to work for your kitchen, Miss Hightower. I worked with. I'm sorry for leaving you. There was opportunity. There was coin for it, Miss Kellis. She gave us a good offer. Miss Kellis did. I didn't know it was. And I think like as she's kind of like whispering frantically, we get like kind of like almost kind of a flashback of you, Victoria, sauntering out of the Kellis home, and we get like a shot of Rosalind looking down from like the windows, looking at you ring away, and her twisting the fan in her hands, and like
till it snaps.
yeah. Yeah. And we'll leave it at that. I'm going to stop this recording. But I do want to say always on recording, these are some fantastic role players. Always just a lot of verb and character and ideas, and just it's so great. Definitely, anyone who's watching this, please check out the Gauntlet. I should mention, just to shout it out, if you've gone to the end of this, there is the Gauntlet Open Community Gaming event that's on the weekend of the 16th of April. Check it out. Some folks are putting up some really cool games and sessions there. It's all for like, it's an outreach. Check out why play with some of the best role players out there.
I'll be running stuff. I've put 3 games up already. Who all else is running stuff?
I need to
up a game.
I need to think of something.
Put up a game because a friend of mine has written this wizarding school PBTA thingy, and I think I want to run it just to see how it works for with other people. So
yeah, I said I'd do something. I haven't decided what really yet. Anything.
Yeah, I need to do the same.
Likewise. I'll probably run at some point over the weekend. I've not made up my mind what or when yet, but
I've got a 2-shot of Pasión de las Pasiones Friday and Saturday night, and then Thursday night I'm running the Final Girl, but you're all Batman villains getting taken out by Batman.
Yeah, okay, I really want to play that one.
I saw that, and just the idea. So genius. That's genius.
Anyway, that's all to look forward to. But for now, Blades in the Dark is going to take a break. We'll see you all in a few months. But yeah, have a good time. We'll say goodbye to YouTube. Bye-bye.